Well, good evening, my Teaserking family. Right off hot tub, and while I'm still pissed off, I wanted to do a little video, not long, unless I get a lot of questions and comments. So we've been talking about psychology, right? If I tell you that, the sky is falling, you don't want to hear it, right? So I'm in the hot tub and I start talking to somebody about, are you ready for the shit hitting the fan? Oh, what's that? And I said, well, the dollar collapsing, and you need gold and silver. Just a conversation. I'm not trying to teach, but I'm trying to like just see what's going on. And so I go to the, and then some guy's like listening in and puts his 2 cents in. And then I start talking to this other guy. I overheat and I come back and so I'm talking to somebody about gold, and somebody else like sticks his 2 cents in. And he makes a comment about retirement. And I said, well, gold and silver is my retirement. I'm going to, I'll do well with that. I don't need money in anything else. And we have this conversation about, he's kind of laughing at me, kind of like, and I'm saying, well, the dollar's going out and the BRICS countries want gold and silver to go up. And he's given me the JP Morgan, well, they run the derivatives. I go, I'm not interested in the paper market. I'm interested in the physical market, which you could see went right over his head. So he doesn't even understand gold versus or paper versus derivative. He still thinks JP Morgan runs it. Well, JP Morgan keeps the price down. That's paper. Paper's gone. It's already broken. The derivative market's broken. Because he's trying to say, look, gold won't go up because of JP Morgan and the derivatives keeping the price down. And I'm like, but JP Morgan's out of it. They are not in the derivative market anymore because it's going to blow up and they're going to lose trillions. So they have gotten out and they are buying all the physical they can to protect themselves. Then I get into, I'm in the physical market, not the paper market. He doesn't know the difference. Then I tell him about the BRICS countries and Russia and China, and they want gold to go up. It's going to go up. And 50 countries are out of the dollar, and they are coming out with currency backed by gold and silver, which he's clueless on. Now, I don't really want to get into inflation. I don't want to teach the whole class to him, right? We're at like this level in economics. We started here, and we're inflation and visible hand and supply demand and physical and gold and what's inflation and all that. So we're already like way up here. So he's sitting there with his JP Morgan. I'm talking about BRICS, which is way over his head. And then we start talking. Then he starts talking, well, I listen to Peter Schiff. And I crack up. I go, that guy's an idiot. He doesn't know anything. So it dawns on me that he listens. He doesn't have any knowledge at all. He doesn't have a skill set in it, right? He's listening to somebody that he wants to hear what he wants to hear. So he listens to Peter Schiff, who I know is not an economist. I've listened to Peter Schiff. Guy's a fucking moron. He doesn't understand physical versus derivative. So he's just a salesman trying to sell he's basically Bernie Madoff. He's trying to sell gold. So he's trying to make it sound like you need to buy gold, but he doesn't have a clue about physical and anything else. I would gladly challenge that moron any day of the week. So this is what he uses. He uses these guys that don't know anything, but he doesn't know they don't know anything. But he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't understand I'm a professor. So he is rude and disrespectful to me, which is the name of this video. So why is he rude and disrespectful? Because he doesn't know who I am, but he doesn't want to take the time to know who I am. He doesn't want to learn or educate. He listens to Peter Schiff. So therefore, whatever Peter Schiff says, that's what I'm going with. And he probably hasn't listened in months. Then he brings up some Bitcoin stuff. Well, you could have bought Bitcoin at 16,000. It's now 23,000. Well, I don't know what it's at now, but I don't want anything to do with Bitcoin or anything in the fiat currency or stocks. Yeah, I'm sure if you could go back in time, yeah, let's bet San Francisco yesterday, which we did bet, but let's go bet them. Look, if you'd have bet Frisco yesterday, you would have won. Well, yeah, that's a great comment. What a moron I'm dealing with. So the pool's closed because some kid crapped in it. So he goes in the pool and I go, it's closed. And he doesn't listen to me. And then all the lifeguards start blowing the whistles going, the pool's closed. That's why nobody's in it, you moron. This is what I'm dealing with, right? This is the whole psyche of people, right? They all know more than you do because they don't know anything, but they listen to somebody, and they're if I listen to somebody, everybody else is wrong, which is starting to put the pieces together of what we talk about with our gold and silver, of why we buy it. And we don't, it's like Madoff. We don't, everybody, this guy was probably in Madoff. Like, if Madoff says it, so Madoff said it, so therefore I'll listen. Because they don't know and understand. They're not being taught what the fuck's going on. So they listen to the Peter Schiff and some other guy I never heard of. And that's his source of information. And therefore, and I told him, hey, Phil, doing my hot tub story that I was just at the pool. Well, this is a very, I'm kind of pissed off right now. So I'm telling the story. So what I do is I ask, why don't people listen when I'm at the hot tub and I'm saying fire and nobody cares? And I said, do you own gold? And nobody cares. And they're all looking at me like I'm nuts. And I just laugh at them. So this one guy is saying, I'll quickly repeat it. He's saying, oh, Peter Schiff. I listen to Peter Schiff and some other guy. And I go, well, I have a master's in Austrian economics, so I don't listen to anybody. I already know what's going to happen. I've been taught this. You're listening to somebody. You don't even know what's going on. You only listen to somebody else. What the fuck is that? So anyway, so he goes, somebody craps in the pool. He goes in. I say, it's closed. He ignores me. This is the type of guy we're dealing with. All the lifeguards blow him out. He walks back by me and I go, you're very rude and disrespectful to me, and that I will not tolerate that. And I say it again to him and he doesn't get it. And I said, well, you just called me an idiot because if I'm telling you that Peter Schiff doesn't know what he's talking about, I got a master's in economics, and I'm telling you to buy gold and silver physical, and you're telling me that JP Morgan runs the COMEX and keeps the price down. And I'm saying JP Morgan doesn't do that anymore. They're out of it because they know they're going to get the shit beat out of them because of the BRICS countries wanting gold to go up. He doesn't, so it's way over his head. And this is the problem when you listen to people versus when you know. That's why I teach you. So now you can go hand-to-hand combat with anybody who says, I listen to this guy and that, and you don't even have to say, listen to the professor. All you got to do is say, well, with inflation ruining the dollar and the BRICS countries wanting gold and silver to go up because China owns 40,000 tons and Russia owns 20,000, that's what they want. They broke COMEX. COMEX is paper anyway, not the real price. We're talking physical. And so he can't even do that. All he says is, I listen to Peter Schiff. And he's kind of laughing at me, I think. Maybe he's just laughing, but I take it like you're laughing at me. And I got really, I told him to go fuck off. Bobby will love this story, but it's like I don't take this shit from people anymore. So it's a frustrating thing, but you're trying to understand what the fuck's wrong with people. And it's just simply, they don't know, but they don't know, And the fact that I have to explain myself because they've never heard this, right? Nobody has heard BRICS, what inflation really is, that China and Russia are coming out the dollar backed by gold. There's no more petrodollar. They want gold to go up in price. Nobody's heard this. So therefore, when I say it, I'm like the kid, yelling fire or Chicken Little or whatever. The sky's falling, but it's falling, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm just looking at these people. This is why I don't say much. But I happened to be in a conversation where the guy was interested in it, and basically it was that was it. Hey, Teddy, your job is make food. Okay, Teddy, I can see you're drinking early or late. Um, so anyway, so I just thought I would do this video just to tell this story. So basically, most people are clueless. They don't understand what the fuck's going on. And when you try to explain it to them, they don't want to hear it because they don't know who I am. And it's just, I just want to say, go fuck yourself, basically. Phil, that may be the type of guy who took a cow shot, is relying on Social Security and watches TV to get information. These people are hopeless, Professor. I've learned to not invest much time helping them. Well, yeah, he seemed interested because I was talking to somebody else about gold. And then he was like, I could see he was listening to the conversation. So I really wasn't talking to him. But then he starts getting in like just about like, oh, gold and silver will never go up because JP Morgan controls it. And I said, no, they don't, not anymore. And I'm not talking about derivative gold. I'm talking about physical. But then once you have to start explaining it, the guy's not smart enough to understand it. So I agree with you, Phil. And that's why I normally don't say anything. But it was a starting conversation. Some kid shits in the pool. The pool's not open. So I'm in the hot tub. I had done my bike and I wanted to swim. Okay, Teddy, you're getting a little weird on me, Teddy. Chiefs owners buy all this. So the Hunts bought paper silver. That's why the Hunts didn't do well. You buy physical silver, not paper silver. So what the Hunt brothers did to try to corner the silver market was they bought derivatives instead of the physical. Had they bought physical, first of all, there's too much silver to corner the market. Secondly, there's no reason to corner the market, just buy the silver. But you have to fight the derivatives. So you have to understand the derivative market back when they tried to do it was not going to allow you to corner the market. It wasn't a very smart move by the Hunt brothers. No, they didn't try to switch the dollar to silver back. They tried to buy all the silver. No, they tried to corner the silver market. So they figured if I buy all the silver, then I can control the price and make it a monopoly. So they do what JP Morgan likes to do, which is monopolies. That's what they tried to do. They weren't overthrowing the dollar. They can't do that because the government runs it. And it shouldn't even be up to the dollar. It should be gold and silver. So everything's gold and silver. But I was very adamant about the guy being rude and disrespectful. Gold's the only real money. So if you listen to Peter Schiff and some other moron, and you don't get gold and silver are real money, and they're about to explode, I can't teach it to you in 5 minutes, especially if you don't want to learn about it, right? So they're not on to learn about it; they're on to. But what gets me is the guy thinks he knows. I listen to Peter Schiff, so I know that gold and silver, whatever. But you would think Peter Silver's saying gold and silver are going up. But again, I kept explaining to him, he's talking JP Morgan derivatives, and I keep saying, that's the derivative market. We don't care about the paper market. It's broken. We care about the physical market that the Russia and Chinese are controlling. And Russia has a physical exchange that they're doing, which is going to put the price of gold and silver at physical, not at derivative. And that's what we're doing. Hey, Greg and John. Well, I'm pissed off. I was at the hot tub and talking gold, and some guy disrespected me. And I'm kind of trying to explain what happened and why. So yeah, it's a short one unless you guys really want to talk. But right now, it's that's all it is. 49ers gold or Raiders silver. Okay, Teddy, you're getting a little bit strange on me here. We're not talking football right now. So yeah, I just wanted to get this out. I know not a long one. I'll talk about it again tomorrow. But because I always ask why people aren't interested in learning the truth, right? So if I'm telling you to buy gold because it'll save your life and you don't want to hear that, I scratch my head and go, what are you doing? What, then I take it personally, like, oh, you don't think I know what I'm talking about. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It's a little bit frustrating to me that you'll listen to Peter Schiff, but when I tell you, you won't take the time to get to know and understand what I'm talking about. And when I told the guy I have a master's in Austrian economics, you could see he kind of backed away a little bit, but he was more into, well, Peter Schiff says this, so I listened to Peter Schiff. And my response was, you're a fucking idiot, because he's an idiot. Peter Schiff's an idiot. Why are you listening to him? Because you don't understand it, and you made up your mind that he knows and nobody else knows. And I go, that's just ridiculous. So I said, it's about to go way up. And he's fighting me going, well, no, because JP Morgan owns the derivative market, which keeps the price down so the price won't go up. In other words, saying don't invest in gold because the price won't go up because JP Morgan price fixes. And I'm like, are you that naive to think you can keep price fixing? And I'm saying Russia and China are destroying this price fixing, but he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He doesn't understand what BRICS is, the BRICS nations, or that golden, that 20,000, 15,000 ounces that Russia has and 40,000 ounces that China has, and they're both going bankrupt. They need the price of gold to go up. So he can't even understand the concept. It's so far over his head. But because I'm explaining it to him, I'm expecting him to go, oh yeah, you know what you're talking about, not, good luck with your gold, buddy. I'm like, fuck you. So I gave him the old fuck off. What's funny is no one is going to even take gold seriously until it hits 5 to 10K. Then the masses will run. Right. I'm yelling fire because I can see the smoke. And all these other people are listening to these Peter Schiff guys or whoever. I point them out. Right? I showed you today where I showed you the negative comments I wrote on the guys because they're saying gold's going to go down, but they're talking derivative. And it's not a real price. So it's like the football line, right? What? Kansas City's 1.5 over Cincinnati. That's the real line. But if, there's a money line, well, that's not the real line. So, I mean, it's just, that's what we want in gold and silver, the real line. Kansas City 1 over Cincinnati. What's the real line on gold? And I'm telling you, it's at least 10 grand. But because we understand the properties of it, we know that the demand is through the roof, which is what makes it valuable. Of anything being valuable is demand. But when you blow up the money, that makes the demand even stronger. And like you said, Phil, I mean, that's hitting the nail on the head. Then all these guys that I'm telling that are kind of pissing me off by being rude and disrespectful, and I call them rude and disrespectful. Then I told him to fuck off, and I went in and took a shower. And the guy's kind of laughing, and I'm like, well, good luck with your Bitcoin as that goes to zero, and good luck with your stocks or whatever the fuck you have. You don't want to be in gold. You don't understand it. You don't understand physical from paper. Well, I'm trying to help you, but you know more than me, I guess. Yeah, well, exactly, Phil. And that's why I try to explain it at the level I try to explain it. So you guys can fight also, right? If you hear somebody, now you probably don't even want to get into it, right? You're like, we'll talk to the professor. That's my guy. I don't even want to, you're at a bar or a restaurant and you hear You go, hey, do you got gold? Oh no, I don't. I'm in Bitcoin, and you really, it's just such like, okay, fine, just enjoy your Bitcoin until it goes to zero. But yeah, it's very frustrating. These people are so stupid that they don't get. Um, they won't see it until it hits 10, 20 grand. I don't know that it's going to hit 5 grand, Phil. I think it goes right up to 20 or 30 grand. And I think silver goes right up to $1,000. I think because once Russia gets a price on it, the demand is so high and it's been suppressed for 50 years that I don't think it stops here. I think it goes all the way up. So my thought is you're gonna wake up, it'll be repriced. That's part of the reset, right? Gold's going to be 25,000 an ounce, and people are going to be scrap. Oh, fuck, we're fucked. And I think silver's the same way. Silver will be 1,000 or 1,500, and people will be like, "Shit, we're fucked. We should have bought it at 28. Why didn't we buy it at 28?" And I'll give you a quick football analogy. So I'm at my dad's house when he's alive in Miami of Florida. Is playing Oklahoma. Michael Irvin's at Miami of Florida. And I bet Miami of Florida. Oklahoma was a 2-point favorite. This is a national championship game in the Orange Bowl. I think Jimmy Johnson's the coach. Miami's getting 2 or 3. I take Miami as a home dog, getting 8 or 9. And Miami wins 17-10. Michael Irvin catches a late pass. But Miami's defense was so strong that Oklahoma couldn't do shit because all he did was run the wishbone. So I win, and my stepmom goes to my dad, and me and my dad would bet all the time. Hey, Bobby. Well, yeah, we got it. We're doing a double class today. I'm pissed off about the hot tub comments. So, so I go and I win, and what else is new? The professor hits a football game. And my stepmom goes to my dad, like, well, why didn't we bet it? And it's like the same feeling with the gold of this disrespect that, yeah, Howard said it, but we won't listen to him. And I get great joy out of being right, like I was with San Francisco, like I was with Cincinnati, especially Cincinnati. Well, both of those games, I felt very, and I knew they were going to win. I knew they were both going to win Sunday morning when I woke up. I knew Cincinnati was winning, and then when they won and Philly had won, there was no question the Niners were winning. I had no doubt in my mind that San Francisco was going to win, and I had 2 points, 2.5. It didn't matter. I knew it was going to win because it was going to be just like Philly, right? The home team's going to win. And I just knew it. I had that feel. Like I said, I felt every game, but the Philly game was a little bit wishy-washy. So I've already made my picks. It's going to be Frisco, Philly. I like the under, and take Cincinnati. They're getting 1. Why are they getting 1? Mahomes can't even walk. He ain't going to be ready Saturday. And even if he was, Cincinnati's the better team. Look how they fucked up Buffalo, man. This Josh Allen, I tell you, he sucks. Nobody believes me. Now, do you believe me? In the big game, where was Josh Allen? Where was Lawrence? Where was Jones? They all disappeared. Dak Prescott, 2 interceptions. Perfect. So when I tell you about gold, I mean, it's the same thing. So I was disrespected tonight in the hot tub, Bobby. So I'm doing the night class. Bobby, shocking news. I actually received a random notification this time. Wow. Well, maybe at night. Phil, rant stream, Bobby, good stuff. I missed you guys this afternoon. I was like, fuck, where's my guys? You told those people in the hot tub to go fuck them. Yeah, well, I'll tell you the story again. What's up, Phil? Bobby, yes, Allen choked big time. Well, what else is new? Cost me that damned over and lost teaser by that one. Yeah, well, I had a teaser. My lock was the Niners with Cincinnati, and then I played a Kansas City over with Cincinnati over. And I can't believe Buffalo only got 10 points. So here's the story again, Bobby, so you don't have to rewind it. And I know I've only been on 20 minutes. So in the hot tub talking gold with somebody who, seemed interested, and some guy's listening. And so he thinks he knows, right? He thinks I don't know, and he thinks he knows. And he says he listens to Peter Schiff and somebody else I'd never heard of. Says I listen to those guys, and it's all controlled by J.P. Morgan and the derivatives, and the price will never go up. So good luck with your gold. And he's being very rude and disrespectful to me. And I don't take that shit. So I go to the guy and say, well, are you aware of the BRICS countries, Russia and China, owning 40,000 and 15,000 tons of it? And they're the ones who want it to go up. And all these countries are out of the dollar. And she's the fat, ugly girl now. And, I'm getting into it without getting in too much of it. Phil, I was glad since you won. For one, I was on Bengals, but also I didn't want them berating me with Hamlin sobs. Yeah, exactly. So Bobby, I'm telling the guy, he thinks J.P. Morgan's still in derivatives, which they're not. They're out of them because they're going to get killed in them. Because nobody's going to short them, right? Nobody wants to buy shorts because they know gold's going north, not south. So he's saying, I listen to Peter Schiff, and I go, I don't listen to Peter Schiff's an idiot. He doesn't know what's going on. I says, I got a master's in economics, Austrian economics. I know I don't listen to any of those clowns. I know because I learned it. I was taught it. I don't need to listen to Peter Schiff. And I said, the whole thing with BRICS and the whole thing, it's all collapsed. COMEX is gone. It's going to be physical. There's a physical market coming out from Russia, and Russia is coming out with the dollar backed by gold, which is going to blow gold way, way up. And the guy won't believe me, and he just kind of starts laughing at me. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, I said, you're rude and disrespectful. Like, what the fuck? I know what I'm talking about more than Peter Schiff knows. You don't know anything. You have to listen to a guy like Peter Schiff to get your information. And that's where I'm really hitting home now is these guys that don't know anything. They're not educated. They don't take the time to learn. They think if I listen, I know because Peter Schiff told me. So if Peter Schiff tells me this, I know it, right? So I don't need to listen to the professor or some guy in the hot tub. What could he possibly know? He's sitting in the hot tub. So that's where my point is. And I basically don't appreciate the rudeness and the disrespect. And I told him that. I said, I have a lot of gold and silver. And he kind of laughed at me. I said, well, that's my retirement. I'm just waiting for it to go up to 50,000 an ounce and 5,000 for the silver. And I'm going to go retire with Jenna, my Ukrainian girlfriend. So I'm telling him, and he's laughing at me like, he says, well, I was in, you could have been in crypto. It went from 17,000 to 23,000. I go, well, you could have bet San Francisco yesterday. They won. I mean, I can tell you all the shit after the game. I said, I don't want to be in crypto. It's going to zero. It's not money. It's just bullshit. And, so when you're coming back at me with, you could have bought crypto at 17 and went to 23. No, it went to 21. And I have no desire to buy crypto because I don't even know what the fuck it is. I'm very happy in gold and silver, physical, and we're waiting for the physical to go through the roof, which it's going to do because everybody's off the fat lady, right, Bobby? So nobody's into this. Nobody wants the fat, ugly woman. They're all going to get out of it. A new currency will come out. Gold and silver will obviously go through the roof because of the inflation, which the guy doesn't understand either. So we've been talking about why people don't listen, and it dawned on me because he listens to a Peter Schiff or some other idiot, and he thinks now I know because I listen to Peter Schiff. So he doesn't even know who he's supposed to listen to, but he listens to somebody, and then he frames it, right? I don't listen to anybody. I mean, we have our British guys that more confirm what I'm saying than I'm listening to them. I'm not listening to them. I'm telling you what's going to happen. But when I get the reinforcement, I kind of share going, look, he's British. So we're both on the same page. Just look, somebody else is saying what I'm saying, but I don't need to listen to anybody. I know what's going to happen. So that's why I get a little bit bent out of shape when some idiot in the hot tub wants to sit there and laugh at me. That ain't going to happen. I mean, it's like poker times 5. And I told him that. I told him you were rude and disrespectful to me, and I do not tolerate that. And I just got up and left and told him to fuck off. Like, you can talk to people, you can talk to idiots like that, but you can't talk to me like that. Let's see, where are we at, Bobby? Oh yeah, you told those people in the hot tub to go fuck themselves. I tell everybody to go fuck themselves when they don't know what they're talking about. I don't have time for people to be idiots and not know and challenge me and then not even listen to me. I don't have time for that. Ellen choked since he won. Okay, Bobby, 100% agree, Phil, as I was annoyed that Bills got given special treatment with home field yesterday, neutral site if they won. See, why doesn't Cincinnati get a neutral site? They got the same record, and they beat both Kansas City and Buffalo now. Glad Bengals sent them packing. Yeah. Bobby, he said that Peter Schiff told him. He said he listened to Peter Schiff, and I laughed. I said, this guy's a fucking idiot. But I thought Peter Schiff is a gold guy who advises to buy gold. He's a gold salesman who says buy gold. So he's a salesman saying buy gold. So he does say to buy gold, but he's not an Austrian economist. He doesn't understand why. He just says buy it because I sell it. See, when I tell you to buy it, I don't sell it. So there's no motive for me to tell you to buy it except for protection. And I want you guys to be okay. Where he does it, so you go to the Schiff fund and buy the gold. That's the difference. Plus, he doesn't have the right reasons. The professor should have slapped that laugh off his face. Well, I should have said, do you smell what I'm cooking, is what Bobby would have said, right? Or put him in like a figure 4 and just wait for the submission. Yeah, I don't like when people laugh. That's disrespectful. He should respect your insight. Well, that's what I am upset at. He didn't even get to he couldn't understand my insight. It was much over his head. He's coming back with Peter Schiff, and I'm going the BRICS countries, and he doesn't even know what the BRICS countries are. And I'm saying they got their own dollar backed by gold. It's coming out, and we're off the petrodollar. Nobody wants the U.S. dollar, so there's no fucking way that JP Morgan can keep the price down on derivatives because they're not, first of all, they're not even in it anymore. And the price has gone up. It's now 1925 today. So the derivative price was 1700. It's now 19. It's gone up like 150. So don't tell me JP Morgan's keeping it down. He's not anymore because he knows he's about to get the shit beat out of him, because if he's left holding these shorts and it goes up, he's fucked. So he's out of that. He's completely out of it because he knows he's fucked if he holds it. That's why they're all buying gold, to cover their short positions, because they know here comes the longs, the banks are long, and here come the Russians who want the gold price to go up, them in China, because they're bankrupt and they got all this gold. So imagine, Bobby, you got 40,000 ounces of gold and you're China. You need the price to go up to 30, 40,000 an ounce when you have 40,000 tons of it, times 32,000 ounces a ton. He's got a whole lot of tons. He's got a whole lot of ounces that he wants to now go get priced at 50,000 an ounce or 40,000 an ounce. It might not go right to 50. It'll probably go to 20 to 30. And then all the demand comes in. Now people realize it, like this moron, and then that's shooting it up to 50. So I think it goes 25, 30, and then like a kickoff return to 25 to 30, to 35 to 40 midfield. And then if we're playing Canadian, it would be the 55-yard line. I always loved that about Canadian football. They had the 55-yard line. Let's see. Phil, you know why he listened to Peter Schiff? Because Schiff is a lot of Bitcoin debates and has gotten more famous over it. If you really listen to Schiff and you now have the skill set I've taught you, and you listen to Shift, you realize he has no clue what he's talking about. There's a lot of guys like Rick Rule and that Rickards who talk but don't say anything. That's what these guys are. They're a bunch of talkers, but if you listen to what they say, you're going, what the fuck did he just say? He didn't say anything. And I rip those guys too. And, I'll be happy to show you all the comments. Bobby, I showed the negative comments on my earlier show where I basically said, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Get off of YouTube, the Teaser King. So I showed you that earlier if you saw the earlier class. Well, Peter Schiff's, his dad was big. He's Madoff basically, but in gold. So he'll sell you, but he sells gold. Okay, so of course he's going to want to make it sound like you should buy gold, which is, but I'm not saying it for the reason of I'm selling it. I'm saying for the reason it's safety, and we're all going to make a lot of money on it when it goes through the roof. To crypto guys, Peter Schiff is a joke, but for different reasons that we think he is. Bobby, yeah, you should have duplexes him off the ladder into the fucking pool. I would have, but somebody shit in the pool and it was closed. But I kept telling him, he goes in the pool and I go, it's closed. Somebody shit in it. He ignores me. He swims in the pool. All the lifeguards are blowing the whistle at him, throw him out of the pool. And he walks by me and I said, I told you the pool is closed, but I can see that you don't want to listen to anybody. You know everything. And that's when I called him very disrespectful. And the guy's kind of laughing. And I go, you're an idiot. You're going to, good luck with your money. And what is it, stocks? What are you, in Amazon or something? Yeah, I got the suplex thing. Then put him in a sharpshooter telling him, say gold and silver. Well, yeah. And then I could have said, do you smell when I'm cooking? I think that's usually a good line to put these guys in their place. I always wondered what The Rock was cooking. I always thought it was like, barbecue or something. Phil, he is not a good gold representative, so people laughed at him and felt more confident in the crypto investments, almost like a plant to make gold look bad. I agree, Phil, and I think that's a lot of what I see from a lot of these guys, like the guys I showed you earlier, where they're saying, oh, I think the gold price is going down. I think they're a plant because they're not talking physical. They all talk derivative. It's amazing how many of these morons talk derivative gold and don't get the concept of derivative versus physical. So they'll draw these charts. Well, look what happened in 2008 with the housing crisis. Look what gold did. That's what they think gold's going to do now. And they're not connecting the dots that, no, you don't understand. We're blowing up. The derivative market is gone. It's out. COMEX is gone. It's busted. Russia's coming out with a physical price. That's what we're going to go with. And that price is going to be huge because it's been held down by the JP Morgans for since 1970, right? So it's been held down. The demand is huge. Once price goes to demand, that's where I get the 50,000. And it's probably conservatively low. It could be 100 grand. And then when this goes to shit, now, okay, so now what are you pricing crypto in? Because right now it's priced in dollars. Crypto without dollar, what is it? Gold without dollars goes even higher because it's money. See, that's the difference between gold and anybody says crypto is gold, because Bitcoin can only be priced in US dollars. It is not, if the US dollar goes to zero, crypto goes to zero. If the US dollar goes to zero, gold goes through the fucking roof. Because now it doesn't need the dollar to have value. Gold has its own value because it's real money and it's the most demanded thing. As I've taught, one of the properties of money is the demand for it, and it's limited. Well, gold's pretty fucking limited, but the demand for it is so much. There's probably 100 times demand than there is actual physical gold. Especially once you take the foot off of it and let it hit 20, 30,000, you'll see the demand for gold will be huge. Well, it's already, Russia, China, India, Saudi Arabia, and South Africa and Saudi Arabia and Iran. what do you think the demand for gold is? There's only us are the only guys with smart enough to buy it in the U.S. Most people here own crypto or stocks, and they think stocks and bonds, they're all going to get killed, and that's what J.P. Morgan wants, I guess, so he can rule the U.S. or whatever the fuck they're trying to do. They don't want people like us to buy gold and silver and catch on that that's really it. So the West has problems because the East has all the gold. And as we know, those with the gold make the golden rule. And we're going to be going, yeah, okay, we're fine. Oh, the dollar went out. Yeah, we're fine. We just need Bobby to get more gold. Bobby, you got to buy me 10 ounces of gold for me, please. I don't like you don't have any gold, Bobby. You really need to get some gold. Although you'll change your silver for gold. Silver's going to go through the roof too, so don't worry about it. But it's just you can sleep with gold under your pillow a lot sounder than silver under your pillow. Plus, you can put it in the freezer, in the Cool Whip containers, and it's indestructible. I don't know how silver is going to act in the freezer. Bobby, yeah, I laughed my ass off to have to watch the playback from earlier. Someone shitted in some kids. No wonder why they're clueless. They over there swimming in shit. Well, all of a sudden they blow the whistle. It's 7:30. I've just done my bike. I'm in the hot tub and my foot's fine. I just want to relax. It's Monday, and then I'm going to go do my workout where I run in the pool and do my aerobics. And next thing I know, they start blowing the whistles. Well, I don't get these kids, probably 5, 6, 7 years old. Don't they fucking know it's not a toilet? Like, you're shitting in the pool. Like, you're shitting. When you have to go, you got to go. Unless it's in the middle of a class and the kid is scared to miss the class. So he knows he's pooping, but he can't miss the class. And then the next thing you know, they blow the whistle. Everybody's out of the pool. So nobody's in the pool, and this one moron goes in. And, you're telling him, hey, dude, it's closed. And this is the type of person, he doesn't want to listen, right? He knows everything. This is the problem with people when they think they know everything. And I don't think I know everything. However, if you're going to challenge me in Austrian economics or gold or the BRICS countries, you better bring it. Just like when somebody comes in with football picks, you better bring why you like Dallas over Frisco yesterday. You better bring a good reason, because I've already studied the game, analyzed it, came out with my picks, Cincinnati, Dallas. So if you're going to come contrary to me, you better fucking give me a good reason. I'll listen, but don't just say I'm taking Dallas, and I'm going to laugh at you going, what the fuck would you take Dallas for? They got Dak Prescott, and I correctly picked the 2 interceptions. I would have had the pick 6 with a couple minutes left. He hit the linebacker in the chest. He dropped the ball at the 15. He'd have walked in. I would have got my pick 6, which I really wanted. But I think, Phil, you hit the over 0.5 on Prescott interception. So I was happy for you. I think that was you. Bobby, now that you mentioned silver, I'm about to go grab my coins and bring them back. I'm telling you, Bobby, you got to get some gold. Staring at, it's like the pretty girl and the real pretty girl. So the silver is the pretty girl. The gold's the really, really pretty girl. So you'd like staring at her. Set your silver bed sheet up. Well, I'm not in bed just yet, but go grab the coins anyway and shine them up. Oh, Bobby. Yeah, you see, but if you have the gold ones in the little plastic casino chip container, then you can leave them right there, and you have them all in the little hard plastics like the baseball cards, and you're fine with them. So you can buy quarter ounces. A quarter ounce is $5.75. I just bought 2 of them, so you can do that. I don't know. I mean, I want more. It's funny, no matter how many, I have over 400 ounces of silver. I can because it's so cheap at $28 an ounce, and I can get 10 for 280. It's like going out to eat. It's like taking out your girlfriend to dinner and a movie is $100. And I'm thinking, well, for 240, I can go get 10 more ounces of silver. And it at $1,000 an ounce, it's going to be worth 20,000. How many? It's like the biggest no brainer in the world. It's like the Dallas game. Dallas, my line's 10. The line comes out at 4. I'm like, thank you, God. And then I bet it. It goes down to 3.5. I got Dallas plus 2.5 in a game I should be laying 4. That's how silver is. It should be costing 500 an ounce. I'm buying it for 28. How many ounces can I buy? Because it's figure 1,000 to 2,000 an ounce that I'm buying for $28. And believe me, it will be there, and we know why. So I don't have to get into the why. So it's not like we know JP Morgan does the derivatives and keeps the price low, but we also know it's busted. We also know what Russia's doing. We also know it's going to hit physical market, and we all know that's coming. We all know the dollar's collapsing. So what's JP Morgan going to do with derivatives with dollars that are zero? Yeah. Okay, JP Morgan. So we get JP Morgan's been keeping the price down, but thanks to BRICS and Russia and China, that's going to all break. That's why we're doing it, and that's why it's going to happen now. So what these idiots in the pool don't understand is they're giving you the scenario 5 years ago. Well, JP Morgan keeps the price down. Assuming nothing's changed, you're right, but BRICS and the whole backed by gold currency that China, Russia are coming out with, and everybody's off the petrodollar and everything. 55 countries are off the dollar. Things have changed. So now it's like saying Brady's on New England. Oh, wait, no, he's not on New England anymore. Oh, that's about what this guy's doing, assuming Brady's still on New England or Peyton Manning's still on Denver. He doesn't get things have changed. And that's the difference. This guy, that's why he's clueless, because he's not understanding changes have been made. So I'm trying to tell him about the BRICS and the dollar collapsing and the inflation, which I doubt he understands the real meaning of inflation, which I didn't even want to go there with the guy. I could see he wasn't smart enough to figure that out. And when you're telling me you're listening to Peter Schiff, you might as well say I'm listening to Ric Flair on economic advice. As soon as he says that, I'm like, okay, goodbye. You're talking to you is like talking to this wall you're too stupid to talk to. If you're listening to Peter Schiff, you're not smart enough to know not to listen to him. So, so he's trying to argue that he listens to smart guys. And I'm trying to say, I don't listen to anybody. I know it. I've been taught this. So I don't need to listen to anybody to understand what the fuck's going on. Just like football. I don't need anybody telling me anything. I don't need anybody telling me Frisco Philly's going to be one motherfucking game and there ain't going to be a lot of points with these defenses. I don't need anybody telling me that. I already know. And I know Cincinnati is going to beat KC. I already know it. I don't need anybody to tell me. I don't need to listen to understand that, but I will keep an open mind if you have a good, valuable resource. I will listen. I'm not closed-minded, but I teach myself, and I'm at the point where I can teach myself. What do we got here? Phil, I wanted to ask about the video you played on Saturday. I didn't want to sidetrack class from football about it, though, at the time. Yeah, go ahead, Phil. What did I say Saturday? Bobby, there's a lot of so-called analysts on YouTube saying that the recession might now happen and that stocks and crypto will have a good year since they've had a nice little one in the past week. Yeah, I've been noticing that, and I've been just negativing them, going, they don't understand inflation, or they're put out by Biden and JP Morgan to say that. I read you in class how JP Morgan is saying we're going to have a good year, and I'm like, this guy doesn't understand what inflation is. Inflation is not going away. you've printed too much money. It's not like you can. The only way to take it back is you make interest rates so high that people bring it back into the bank. Then you can burn it. All right. That's why raising rates puts the money back in. Nobody's putting their money back in the bank. They're all buying stocks with it or bonds or crypto. And they're not buying gold because when they go to their financial planner, what does he tell them? Buy stocks and bonds or buy crypto. Like they're all excited about crypto, which is going to zero. Bobby, it's crazy how the emotional aspect completely takes over and flips, but they're not using reasoning. They're just, they're listening to hear what they want to hear. Oh, we'll be fine. Stocks and bonds will be fine. The inflation will go away. Don't worry. It'll be 2008 all over again. That's what people want because people don't understand what to do if it collapses, right? People don't know to buy gold and silver. They think it's going to go to zero. I mean, they don't understand it at all. They can't comprehend. It's your safe haven. It's the only thing. This is going to zero. It's the only thing that's going to protect you. And you're going to get a kick because it's been held down. The price will shoot up. So you're going to get a double hit on gold and silver. But people, they have no idea. They don't trust. They don't know to trust, and they don't know who to listen to. So they'll go to a Peter Schiff or, oh, he looks good or he talks good or something. But they're clueless. They don't even know who to ask because they haven't been educated. That's why I spend a lot of time educating you so you understand what the fuck's really going on, not, oh, go listen to JP Morgan or Peter Schiff or Biden or one of these idiots. Yeah, Bobby, have noticed that also. Well, that's what they play on. The government plays on your emotions. Sorry, I meant that the recession may not happen. Yeah, it's already in mid-stride. Phil, you played a video where the guy said it's best not to measure gold by its dollar value or even in foreign currency value, I guess for similar reasons. I guess I'm confused as to how to value it since the guy was saying not to think of it in terms of fiat money. Well, okay, so what he's saying, this is my British guy, as the dollar goes out, how are you going to value gold? You're going to value it in purchasing power. And he brings up the Germans where you could buy $1 million house with 5 ounces of gold because they're selling it for $1,000 or whatever. So what he's saying is don't worry about, you want to get out of fiat currency. That's what you want to do. That's this. That's dollars, that's euros, that's yen, that's won, there's rubles. Anything that's fiat, that's just printed by the government and not backed by gold, you want to get out of because it's all collapsing because all these Keynesians running these countries are printing it to death. You cannot just keep printing this. This is where we have the edge, us Austrians. We understand if you print it, it's inflation and you're going to bury it and you're going to make it zero. They don't. They think they can just keep printing it. So what he's saying is your gold is going to go to like 50,000 US and then the US goes out. What happens to your gold? And what he's saying is it's not going to be valued in currencies. It's now going to be valued in oh, you want a Ferrari? Here's an ounce of gold. You can buy a Ferrari. Oh, you want to buy Tom Brady's $1 million house? Here's 2 ounces of gold. You just bought his house because they're going to need money and what's out there, all the fiat crap, right? So how much are you going to give Tom Brady for his house? He doesn't want this. Eventually what happens when the shit hits the fan, nobody wants this. So they get the money, they run and buy tuna fish and chili and Cheerios. They don't want to hold this because it doesn't have value. So that's when you know it's over, is when they run and buy stuff. That's the hyperinflation because they don't want to hold this. Let's go back to Germany 1930. They don't want to hold this because they need a wheelbarrow to buy milk and bread, right? So they know it's worthless. So once the fat lady, and everybody realizes she's fat and ugly and she has no value, the game's over for fiat currency. However, what he's trying to say is your gold will be worth, you'll be buying Ferraris and nice houses, and we'll buy an island and we'll put all of Bobby's baseball cards on it. And we'll buy an island in the Caribbean with 5 ounces of gold. because people will realize this is worthless. What do people do? Their stocks are worthless. The bonds are worthless. The dollar's worthless. The Bitcoin's got no value because it's in US dollars. What do? What's real money? Gold and silver. So right now, gold is in US dollars, doesn't need to be in US dollars. So the point he's making is gold has its own value because it's real money. So you're not going to value it in fiat currency. You're not going to value it in euros or yen or rubles or US dollars. You're going to value gold in what gold buys. So what I'm trying to do is ease any fear you have of you think, well, what happens if the dollar goes out? Does my gold go out? No, your gold goes to the moon. Your gold will be worth so much money you don't even know what it's worth. It won't be worth money. It'll be worth, oh, I want this castle in Scotland. I want to go play. What, the British Open? What's that? St. Andrews. Here's 2 ounces of silver. I'm going to go fly to Scotland and play St. Andrews. There's a nice castle around there. Here's 2 ounces of gold. I'm going to buy the castle, and that's what you'll do because it'll be worth so much that the demand for it will be so huge. People will be dumping their assets because they're all going to be broke because they're all going to be sitting on zero money. Your Buffetts, your Gates, all these morons who won't buy gold, who are buying stocks, or Buffett has $2 billion in currency. You know what that's going to be worth? It's going to be worth zero. Now what's Buffett going to do? All his stocks will be worthless. He'll want gold, right? So now I go to Buffett with an ounce of gold saying, yeah, I'd like your 3 houses. I'll give you an ounce of gold for each of them. Or Gates or whatever. That's what you're going to be able to do. It'll have such a huge value because now it's a monopoly. It's the only thing with value is the gold and silver, which is why JP Morgan comes out with the derivatives. They don't want gold to be the monopoly. They want this to be the monopoly. The only fact is nobody else wants it, so the monopoly's gone. You can only have so let's go back to the horse and buggy days, right? You had horse and buggy. And the guy had a monopoly on horse and buggies. Here comes Henry Ford with the car. What happened to the horse and buggy? So even if JP Morgan had a monopoly on horse and buggy, nobody wanted it anymore because we're all driving cars now. We don't need horse and buggy. So you move to the next thing, and the same thing with computers. Right now, I don't need half the shit. I got a computer. So that's what ends up happening. The gold will be the monopoly, not this. And the BRICS countries, what are they doing? They're coming out with money backed by gold. That'll be the monopoly. What they think is the monopoly is U.S. money, which is no longer the petrodollar, is now not the monopoly anymore. Now it has to compete. And as we know, Bobby, the fat, ugly girl can't compete with the hot, young girl, and therefore they lose. And the hot, young girl is going to be this Russian, Chinese dollar with a gold, backed by gold, will be the hot, young girl. And as long as they keep it backed by gold, it'll be the hot, young. Now, as we know, once they take it off of the gold standard, we get away from the girl. Now, we're not interested. We'll just stick to our gold and our silver. That's really the key to it, is getting out of monopolies. Now, to go into the pool, this has taken me about 45 minutes to explain this to my class who all understand it. That's what it is. It's getting away from the monopoly. And that's the problem. These idiots who listen to Peter Schiff, do you think Peter Schiff explains it? Fuck no. I've never heard him explain this. Or any of the guys, they don't explain monopoly. They don't explain it's dying, what inflation really is. They think it's prices going up. You're killing the dollar. You're killing it, and you're getting rid of the monopoly. You're now making it competitive, which it can't be because nobody wants it because you printed it to zero. And that's the end of the story. So your gold value will be so big, and your silver value will be even big. Like silver's going to catch gold, Bobby. So when gold hits, let's say it hits 35,000 and it's way up to who knows, silver all of a sudden is going to run. And you're sitting on your silver and all of a sudden it's 2,000. Then it hits 10,000. And as gold goes, silver silver runs because it's cheaper. Now there's more silver than gold, and it's the gold standard, and gold's indestructible, but silver is destructible. Silver wears out, but there's more silver than gold. But because it's cheaper, everybody will run the silver. And believe me, these people will run silver up way, way more than they'll run, because who's got 50 grand for an ounce of gold? But I got 2,000 for silver, and I know I got to get out of dollars, so I'm gonna buy silver, and that's gonna move the price way up. So anyway, that's our story of we don't care about fiat currency. It'll be its own value. We don't need it like Bitcoin needs the fiat currency to value it. What happens when the dollar goes away? What is Bitcoin? It's zero. It has no value of its own, where gold and silver have their own value, and that's what the point was. Okay, so we answered that, Phil. Purchase value, excellent concepts. Thank you, Professor. You explained that very well. Thank you, Phil. I do try. Very important to me that you understand what the hell I'm saying, and I'm not just talking to hear myself talk, which I hate and I try not to ever do, but I want to make sure you understand your question. I've answered your question completely, so Bobby gets it, and Ric Flair and The Rock, they all get it. Hey, Ryan. When are you running for Senate? I'm going to go own my own island, and Bobby and Phil are welcome, and we'll have our own laws and our own women, and and we're going to have the gold standard on my island. We're not going to have fiat currency, believe me. So I'll be what, president of my own country or something. But I wouldn't be able to do anything in the Senate. They'd all kill me for suggesting the gold standard. Phil, the dollar is the fat, ugly 50-year-old. She has 5 babies and 4 baby daddies. Gold is the 20-year-old built like an hourglass who laughs at all your jokes and cooks a great lasagna or something like that. Well, that's what I've been trying to say. Professor Island would be fun to live at. Yeah, you'd have all the Russian girls, and we'd have all the gold and silver, and we would not have fiat currency, would not be allowed on our island. We'd have good laws, and we'd have good money. We'd have the 5 things you need to run a very successful country. Adam Smith and the Invisible Hand and Say's Law would be there, and we'd all have a very happy life. But we understand what we need to have it. They don't understand that now. Thank you, Ryan. I'm glad you do. That's the point of this. I'm supposed to be teaching you so you understand it, so you're not like the asshole at the pool who's laughing and being disrespectful because he listens to Peter's shift. And that's really the whole point of me being on now. Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is, but nobody else sees the 20-year-old girl of gold. They're all looking at the 50-year-old. There was that movie with I don't remember, and the guy was like we got hypnotized, and he'd see these real ugly girls and think they were really hot. And I think that's exactly what's going on, is they're all looking at the fat, ugly 50-year-old thinking she's the 20-year-old. So all these JP Morgans are saying, no, she's really 20. And we all know she's 50, but most people don't know. And the thing that cracks me up is when people are like, oh, the stock market will do fine and crypto will do fine. Look at what they're trying to get you into, but they don't want you in gold. Isn't it amazing how nobody wants you in gold? Now let's take a step back. Does that not seem strange? Isn't that very strange that buy stocks, buy bonds, buy crypto, but don't buy gold? Gold will never go up because JP Morgan fixes it. Like, that can never be broke. That's the amazing part. Well, no, if JP Morgan's fixing paper gold, they'll always fix it to eternity. They'll never stop fixing it. They got 300 tons of gold themselves, okay? They have stopped fixing it. So that's the amazing part, is they don't think JP Morgan will stop fixing it. They've been convicted. They've got guys convicted of price fixing. And are you going to fuck with the Russian and Chinese mafias? Do you think they have no power? And you think China's got 40,000 tons of gold for the hell of it? and they're happy at $2,000 an ounce, and you think Putin has 15,000 tons of gold, you don't think he wants it to go up? And do you think JP Morgan can keep the price down from those two guys? You got to be kidding me. The fucking Russian and Chinese mafia, they want the gold price to go up. We all know the gold price is going up. And believe me, we got China here, right? They're running Biden. So if they want 40,000 tons of gold to go up, 40,000 tons of gold's going up, right? So that's how we're playing. We're on the sidelines and we're kind of listening in. Like, oh, fucking China's got 40,000 tons of gold. They're broke. They had the housing crisis from Evergrande. It all's collapsed. They have trillions of dollars in debt, and they're sitting on 40,000 tons of gold. They can't have a country that they're broke. So they're sitting on this one thing that if it just went up to 20 grand, they'd all be doing cartwheels and they'd all be rich. Well, don't you think they fucking know that? Don't you think if they can rig the elections here and they can control Biden and Hunter Biden, you don't think they're going to – who runs JP Morgan? It's obviously the mafia. Just like they fixed Madoff, they'll get after JP Morgan, and he's already stopped doing the derivatives. So the derivatives are about to go, and you can see it. The price is $19.20. Well, pretty soon that price is not going to even be there, and it's going to change to a physical Russian price, and that's what we're waiting for. And we know it's happening, right? We know they're coming out with currency backed by gold. Obviously, they need the gold price to go up. That's what's going to happen. So what's funny is the U.S. has gold on their books at $40 an ounce. Does that make any sense to anybody? Like, why aren't you repricing it at $1,900 an ounce? Just a bunch of idiots, the U.S. Let's see, Bobby. That's a good analogy, Phil. Okay. Bobby, yes, you explain it very well, Professor. Unlike those phony YouTubers, you are wearing the fucking suits and using fancy terms, taking a bunch of horse shit. They need to attend the class and learn. That's why I put, if you notice when I leave the comment, I'll say the professor. And it says Teaser King, but I'll say the professor. So when I insult them and saying, you're a fucking idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, the professor. So I'll say to who's that guy, Morgan or whatever, and a few of the others, I say, come to my class. I'll be happy to teach you Austrian economics. You're a fucking idiot because you don't know it. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing who pretends to know it, and you want to have your videos out, and you want to sell books. What is it, Mike Maloney or something like that? And I'll sit there like he knows what he's talking about. And I ripped him. I said, look, I'm an Austrian economist. I've never used a chart in my life. I've never used a graph or chart. Have you guys ever seen me with a graph or chart? No, because that's not what Austrian economists is all about. It's concepts. Bobby, yeah, they're always dressed all professional in the middle of their bedroom. They're all suited up with a tie and fooling people left and right. That is exactly why I don't wear a tie, because I'm not a salesman. That's what salesmen do. They look the part, but they don't act the part. That's why a lot of the times, I'll be in my polo or I'll be in my turtleneck. Most of the time because they're lucky for us for football. But that's exactly why I dress down, except for that one idiot who thinks I'm stupid because I live in an apartment, because I'm not stupid enough to buy a house in the middle of rising interest rates and prices that are dropping. Who would buy a house? I'm going to pay $400 for a house that in about 6 months is worth $200. No, I'm too smart to do that. So what the fuck? So exactly, I don't fuck around with that. Here's something really cool I want to show you guys. I was in Switzerland and I got this plate, so I started collecting it. Isn't that cool? I just love the Swiss. I highly recommend a trip to Switzerland and go to the banks and buy some gold. Maybe we'll go there to sell our gold and silver. Yeah, those damn charts get annoying. Well, they can't even explain it. if it can break this resistance, it will go to the moon. And then the next day it goes. Well, that's the problem, is they're not analyzing the difference. Why is it different? Because of the BRICS countries, because we're not on the petrodollar. It's now the yuan dollar. They have all the gold and they want the gold to go up. I give you the backbone of why gold's going to go up, not the chart that says, look what happened in 2008. This has nothing to do with 2008. You got heavy inflation going to make this worth zero. The housing crisis is got nothing to do with this. This is all heavy inflation, and you're fucking with the dollar, and gold's going to go through the roof. Has nothing to do with anything in the past. There's nothing you can relate it to. You can't go to the 2000 boom. You can't go to 2008 because it was all derivative. So you're comparing derivative. You can try to compare it to derivative, but they broke the derivative. It's now derivative to physical, and you can't correlate that. So it's like me looking at San Francisco, Philly, and they played last year, but you can't look at Frisco, Philly history because Brock Purdy hasn't played Philly before and Jalen Hurts hasn't played Frisco before. So there's no history you can say. You can look at a San Francisco Philly game. The last one was 2021. Frisco won 17-11, but different quarterbacks, different teams. So you can't compare it. McCaffrey wasn't on the 49ers. Maybe Deebo Samuel was injured. Hurts wasn't there. They got who's the receiver? They got Jones or AJ Brown, and then so you can't look at the history of Frisco, Philly to use to predict this game. You can only take what you got, which is two killer defenses. Probably not going to be a lot of scoring. And I took the fucking game under 51. Based on today, I can't go back to a chart. Now I can look. The only thing I can say is, you know what? Philadelphia, San Francisco is, what is it? What was I looking at? Frisco. Frisco's 10-0 as a road dog. That's all I can really use to say they're a very good road dog. And if you bet on Frisco, they're 16-3 this year. And if I bet on Cincinnati, I can say they're 10-0 as a road dog, 15-0 as a dog. It was 14-0 and they win at Buffalo. So they're 15-0 as a dog and they just gave a whoop ass to Buffalo. That's what I can use to predict, but I can't use 2008 Cincinnati and or 2008 Frisco because the players are different. And that's what the problem is, these idiots looking at charts. The players are different. Russia and China have all this gold. Well, you can't look at – they're getting rid of the derivative. You can't look at that. The derivative's been around since 1971. It's gone. It's broke. That's why you got these premiums. But the premiums, my bitch is they're trying to use the fake derivative paper amount of – what, $24 for silver. And so they put the premium on it and say, we're going to sell it for 28. And my bitch to my coin guy since day one's been, but the $24 isn't right. That's derivative fixed money. The real physical price of silver is $1,000. And that's where we argue. He's looking at the derivative fixed price, adding this little premium to it. And I'm laughing at him going, you're giving me $2,000 silver for $24. I'm buying as much as I can buy because, that's the point of it. So, yeah, a lot. I'm not spending on other things. I'm just, I got a couple $100. I'm off to the silver store because I'm buying $2,000 an ounce stuff for $24. How much? It's like, how much can I eat? I'm at a buffet. Like, I'll have another steak. How many steaks can I eat? Okay, Phil, what was that commemorative plate? This was Switzerland. So I took a girlfriend to Switzerland. Well, we went to Austria and Switzerland for Christmas. So I was at a gift shop and I really love this color. I love blue. And so this is just a Switzerland plate. This is like the city. This is Geneva. And then this is their little, these little, I don't know, it's royalty or whatever. And that's what this is. So then I went to Vegas and I got another one. I said, oh, well, I'll start collecting these. So I go to Vegas and I collect the Vegas one. So now I have a little collection, although I love the Vegas one, and it's it's pretty cool. And then I got a third one when I went to New York, but it fell, but it's basically New York with a little crack in it. So this is kind of what I collect. So when I go to Europe, I tend to collect these just because I really like them. Although I didn't get one in Lisbon. We never really got the opportunity to go to a gift shop like that. But I just thought the Switzerland, I love the blue and I like the Geneva. It's a real nice place to go. And one comment, do not take the taxis there. There's a tram like a Disneyland, right? There, you get on the tram, the 3 tram, they're numbered. You get in front of the hotel, there's a little stop, number 3, and it goes right downtown, right to here. So you take it all the way here. And as I said, it's all shopping as far as the eye can see. You got all these buildings, all the shopping, and Lake Geneva, and you just find a nice steakhouse to eat at, and you go walking around and shopping. I bought my girl, I got her a fake fur coat. I mean, she wanted a fur coat. I know they had one on sale for like $300. I know it wasn't real. She knew it wasn't real. And so she was happy when I got it for her, just so she could show it off. But I wasn't going to spend, $3,000-$4,000 on a real fur coat. We weren't that serious. So it was like, here's a $300 one. Enjoy. So she liked it, but she likes when I spend money on her. She doesn't care. Just spend money on me. Phil, go to TradingView on any given day. You will see 15 ideas, all using charts, all contradicting each other, using the same info. No macroeconomic understanding. That's my point. I get all that, and most people don't. And that's why I'm able to explain the way I do, because I actually understand it but I've learned how to understand it from football. So I break football down since 1975. I've been betting games. I had the Chiefs over the Vikings in '69. So I've been playing it for a while, and I made a lot on the Steelers. I had the Steelers even against the Raiders in the Immaculate Reception, so I thought I lost. Franco scores, and I pull a winner out of my hat. But when I lose a bet, I want to understand why. That, I think, is what makes me unique. And when gold doesn't go up, I want to understand why, or understand what the fuck's going on. Why isn't it going up? So I'm very analytical to ask that question. Why did Frisco win yesterday? Why did Cincinnati win? And it's quite obvious, Joe Burrow and the fucking Niner defense. And Dak Prescott's a choke. So I had enough points to lead me to the direction. So when I start looking at Cincinnati KC, I go, well, you got Burrow, and then Mahomes can't walk. Now, Bobby, you said he would needle up. I don't know that he can needle up. Now it's a high ankle sprain. Good luck with him being 50% next Sunday. So I don't think even with the needle, he's going to high ankle sprain that. Maybe on where you can numb it, but I don't think you can needle a high ankle sprain. I think he's fucked. I think Kansas City's fucked, and I took Cincinnati in 7.5 today, going the Cincinnati will be a 3-point favorite because Mahomes probably won't play, or he's going to be so banged up you'd have to be an idiot to bet Kansas City. And Cincinnati's beaten them 3 times, just beat Buffalo, was in the Super Bowl last year, by the way, which nobody wants to give Cincinnati credit for making the Super Bowl last year. So Cincinnati's not a very good team, apparently. Well, they got Burrow and Chase. They're pretty fucking good. So that's what I do. So that's how I derive at the game, by looking at all the angles and figuring it out, which then takes me to gold and silver and economics and supply, demand, and Say's law, and everything else I teach you is I'm figuring it out, going, why the fuck is this happening? And then you can see the monopolies are the critical point to stay away from. And that's what JP Morgan always wants to do monopolies and fuck over everybody by having the monopoly. And that's the red flag, is people wanting monopolies or the corruption. I don't know. I keep hearing this digital dollar, and I just don't see how it's going to work. What am I going to do with my money? Right? What are we going to do? What's Warren Buffett going to do with $2 billion? And we're going to go to digital. You think that's going to happen? I think it'll be a counter. It's like now we have the dollars and we have crypto. We'll have the dollars and we'll have the digital dollars. And I think you'll choose. And only, why would I want digital dollars? I mean, I'll just stay where it is. But I do hope my credit cards get reset. That'll be very nice. Let's see. Okay, I'm glad you like the plate, Bobby. We'll go to Switzerland. I'll buy you another one. Bobby, Josh Allen ruined my bet in the regular season against Minnesota, and he cost me again yesterday when all I needed was one more touchdown for the over. He sucks. I'm glad Burrow embarrassed him. Well, if you would listen when I'm talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and these guys, and I'm telling you they suck. But everybody gets caught up in the headlines. Look how good Josh Allen is. And I said, I saw him play Air Force, and when they blitzed him, he did nothing. So I assume they blitzed the hell out of him, and he did shit yesterday. He's very bad when you blitz him. Just blitz him. Don't let him sit back in the pocket. And that's my whole point, and I'm sure that's what they did. Same thing with Trevor Lawrence. Same thing with Daniel Jones. They put the pressure on him. They can't read it. They can't get away from the blitz. They suck. That's why I am like that on the quarterbacks. And there's Dak Prescott, same thing. 2 interceptions. Should have been 3, and I should have had my pick 6 late in the game. But it's the same thing. These guys suck. But everybody sees the little 20-yard pass because the defensive coordinators play this deep zone, and they don't put pressure on them. And then they can just sit back and throw these 10-yard passes or run for 15 yards, and everybody thinks they're good quarterbacks. And that's why I roll my eyes like I do with Gold and everything else, is going, these guys suck. So that's why when I say it, that's what I mean by it. Phil, is that silver on the edges? Either way, very cool. No, it's not silver. It might be in silver, but it's not. As far as I know, it's just the color of the plate. There is no silver gold in this. It was not bought. This is probably a $10 plate as a souvenir. So there's no silver on that. Otherwise, Bobby'd be running to buy it because he'd want a new silver coin. Bobby, hell yeah, Professor. You find those plates in gift shops. Yes. You know how they have souvenir stands in all these countries. I'd be wanting to get something like that when I travel, but never end up getting around to it. Just walk around the stores, and there's always a gift shop. And it's always, probably even at the airports, they sell the shirts, or Geneva or Zurich or Austria. I got to take out that gold coin for you, Bobby, the Philharmonic. You'll be buying Philharmonic silvers after I show it to you. But that's what, usually at the airport or something. But this was actually walking down the streets in Switzerland, I believe, and there was a gift shop. Yeah. And then I bought my girlfriend. This is my Romanian girlfriend. She's so tacky. She starts buying, giving me stuff for her sisters and her mother. It adds up nickel dime, maybe $50. And she just expects me to buy it. She never takes her wallet out. This is the difference between my Ukrainian girl and this Romanian girl. The Romanian girl just assumes I'm going to pay for everything because she's pretty. She says, she made a comment to me in Vegas. I took her to the old show at the Bellagio. Really nice show. And she says, well, I got to look pretty, this way you can walk with a beautiful girl. And I go, you're missing the point. I got the looks. The girls are going to look at me. I don't need you to be beautiful. How is that going to help me get a pretty girl unless the pretty girl sees me with you and then says, oh, I want to be with them, which I don't know what's going through Carmen's mind. But she, that's her thought. Well, you can walk with a beautiful woman, and she's very beautiful, but That's my point. And I'm like, I'm not with you because you're pretty. Like, I don't need to walk with a pretty girl for my ego. I'll take care of all that on my own, right? I get a lot of compliments. I don't need to walk with you like as an ego thing, like we're on a date or look at me, I have a pretty girlfriend. That doesn't do anything for. I am 180 degrees from that, and I keep telling her that's not why I'm with you. That's not the point of this. And she thinks she probably gets a lot of guys to date her because she's pretty, but that's not my take on it at all. I am not with her because she's pretty. She is pretty, but that's got nothing to do. I get past the looks real quick. Let's see, Bobby. Phil, that's a major reason I'm going to ride Cincy the rest of the way, I think. Unfinished business. When a team marches right back to the Super Bowl, they usually win. The Bills of the 90s and the Vikings of the 70s, don't forget them, being a rare exception. That was the case before, but I think now you look at it, Phil, it's who's got the best defense and then who's got the best overall team. And I think Frisco and Philly are exact duplicates, really strong defenses and good offenses. And I think Cincinnati is right with them, very strong defense and Joe Burrow. And I think at the end of the day, I don't know that you bet Cincy over those teams. I almost think you just bet these under. I think Cincy beats KC because KC doesn't have a defense and Mahomes is hurt. And then I think Philly Frisco, you just bet the under. And then it's going to be, I picked Frisco Cincinnati, and I think that's an under. Frisco's defense is so good that it's really going to be hard for Burrow to light them up. So I think if Burrow wins, it's by a field goal, and there ain't going to be a lot of points. It'll be 20-17 or something. So we got to see. The point spread will dictate if we take Cincinnati. If they make them the dog, then we're going to – that's what we did last year, right? We had Cincy as the dog and the over against the Rams, and we won it. When Stafford hit the late touchdown, we already had Cincy as the winner. They were up, and we had 9 or 10 points. So we're going to bet the dog in the Super Bowl. I hope it's – like here, why is Cincy the dog to Kansas City? Like, what the fuck? That's what separates us from everybody else, right? That's why I'm the sharpest sharp, because I see that and I go, you got to be fucking kidding me. It's an automatic bet on Cincinnati. I've already made it. A sharp sees the line going, this line's going to end Cincy -3. Maybe only -2, but there's no way. Why is Kansas City favored and Mahomes injured? So that's what a sharp does. He sees the line. He takes advantage of it already. Like that Ohio State story when I told you Michigan was a 3-point favorite 2 or 3 years ago when I was with Carmen in Vegas. So 2 or 3 years ago, and I see Ohio State the dog, and I go to the vice president or whoever runs the sports bettor, you got the wrong line favored, and he laughed at me. He said, oh, yeah, bet $1 million. Well, okay, you want to loan me $1 million? I'll bet $1 million on Ohio State +3. Ohio State won the game by 30 points, and the line when they played, because this was August, so when they played in November was Ohio State -10, and they won by the 30 points. So it doesn't take a sharp long to figure it out and make the bet. I don't wait till the last minute to make the bet. As soon as I see it, I know what I'm doing. Philly Frisco, I know I'm going under as soon as I saw the 45. Although I do like the Niners in 8.5, but again, you get caught in the Philly beating the Giants. You go, oh fuck, look at them, they 38-7. You get a little scared going against Philly, but you got to realize it's the Giants. It's Daniel Jones, not Purdy. They got McCaffrey, and they got Deebo Samuel, and they got Kittle. And who does the Giants have? Barkley. I mean, so it's not the same scenario. That's what you've got to understand, and that's what we understand in gold. So we carry it to economics and gold and silver. It's not the same play. It's a whole different design. And that's what I'm trying to drill into your head, that think about it. You've got to understand what you're looking at. It's not just Peter Schiff said it, so therefore I'm just going to blindly follow Peter Schiff. He's the fucking Pied Piper, and you don't know what you're talking about because I don't know who you are. So I'm automatically going to say you're an idiot because I don't know who you are. Let's say I was Jesus Christ. You're going to just submit, you're going to just ignore me? Well, I don't know who you are, so obviously you're an idiot. I mean, what kind of fucking shit is that? I know Bobby will not agree. He needs Mahomes to win every playoff game for the rest of his career to hit that 6 Super Bowl. Well, Bobby's obviously been drinking a lot to think Mahomes is better than Burrow and going to win 6 Super Bowls. It ain't going to happen, especially the way Frisco and Philly look. He'll be lucky to win one more. Bobby, is the Romanian girl the one who needs money for her dad's funeral? No, this is the second Romanian girl. That one was Irina. This is Carmen. Here, I'll get you the Carmen photos. Hello. So this is Carmen's an actual model. This is Carmen. Very, very pretty, very much into money. Let's see. This is us in Monte Carlo. So I bought her the hat. You can see it says Monaco on it. This is us at lunch. And let me show you a Vegas picture. You'll love this one. So we're sitting at the Wynn pool. Carmen's wearing a bikini and we're doing a photo shoot. So I was her photographer. So she's looking like this at the Wynn pool in Vegas. And we're saying, can we have 5 minutes just to take a photo shoot? And they're like, okay. And I go, she's a real model. And she really is. And so that's at the Wynn pool. And guys were trying to pick her up. And I'm sitting there going, I'm the boyfriend. Like, go fuck yourselves. Get away. Let's see. This was us in New York at the Bowl. So she cleared everybody away so I could take the picture just with her. So, yeah, she's very, very beautiful. I took this. This is in Austria. Now, tell me this isn't a clever picture. We're at dinner, and I'm looking into a mirror so I can get myself in it, and there's she. And so I was able to get us both in I was sitting across from her at the table. So tell me that's not a cool picture. I love that one. So let's see, what do we got in Vegas? Here we are at the Bellagio. This is us at the Bellagio waiting for the fountain works. She would switch glasses and switch top. She's wearing a red top. Next thing I know, she goes into the bathroom. She comes out with a white top and changes glasses. This is a real model. And then she comments how the American girls don't know how to dress, don't know how to walk, don't know how to hold themselves. And so she's saying how beautiful she is. Where's some pictures of us? So here we're in Romania together. This is when I first met her in Romania. So I got the turtleneck on. I never get rid of the turtleneck. This is us in, I think we're in Monaco here. So we went to the south of France and to Monte Carlo. It was a bitch. It was so hot there that I kept sweating my ass off. Everything. Oh, here it is. So now we're at the Bellagio again, and she's now in her white outfit. It was hilarious. So she loved Bellagio and the fountains, and then she switches glasses. She wears the white. You can see it's the Bellagio, and that. So I took her around the U.S. We went to New York, Chicago, Vegas. We went July 4th for a week, and we stayed at the Wynn because it was really good prices. Otherwise, we went to Austria, Switzerland. Do I have her skiing? She was the one skiing. I showed you the ski picture, but it was really her. Here we're at Niagara Falls. I got a better one with me. So we went to Niagara Falls and we got the rainbow. That was really cool. And where is I don't think I have her skiing picture. Where's the skiing picture? This is Monte Carlo. There's a Ferrari. I love taking pictures of the Ferrari, and then that's her right there in the white. And it was very hot that day. So we see a Ferrari. I take a picture of her. She loves that. But I don't know. We're in Switzerland, and there was ski pictures, but I probably deleted them. She pisses me off a lot because she keeps asking for money, and I'm not working. And she waits, and then she bitches at me, and then I say, well, once gold goes up, I'll give you some gold. And that shuts her up. Yeah, I don't have the ski pictures for some reason. Strange. Anyway, so that's Carmen. Yeah, I'd say she's a gold digger, but I understand that. Hey, Nick, how are you? No, so Irina is the one with the dad's funeral. I'm her guardian angel. Carmen, and when I want to bitch at Carmen, I bring up Irina, and I say, Irina's prettier than you. And that gets her because Carmen thinks she's gorgeous. And then I bring up Irina, so you ain't nothing compared to Irina. And but only when I'm mad at her. That's a fair point, Professor. We will see game to game. Yeah, that's correct, Phil. Mahomes will find a way to win and get number 2. Bobby with 4 more to go. Yeah, Bobby's dreaming, man. Bobby, you're hitting the sauce. Hey, Nick. Let's go, since you're about to get that card tomorrow. So, how much did you play it for? Romanian women are beautiful. Yeah, but a little bit on the money side. So you got to be careful with Romanian. The one thing is, all these Europeans love sex. Romanians, the Ukrainians, the Russians. That's the one bonus you get over the U.S. women is they're beautiful and they love sex. But yeah, both Carmen and Irina are just, and they wonder, why don't I date American women? And I go, they're all fat and ugly. I can't. You find American women that looks like that because they're probably Romanian women. They're not U.S. women. They're all fat and ugly and rude and obnoxious, and they can't hold a conversation. Used to date one in high school. They are great. Yeah, absolutely. Very nice, Professor. Thank you, Bobby. Bobby, an approval by Bobby means a lot to me because I know he's a worldly guy. He's had girls in every city as a baseball player. So thank you, Bobby. Nick, yes, the legendary turtleneck. Can never get rid of it. Yeah, I only have one. The rest are in Alabama, but I'll have to look for more. That's when you know TK means business. Yep. Gold digger. Yep, absolutely, BM. I'm always honest, BM. Do they watch your stream? No, they don't. I don't think they do. I mean, first of all, right now it's 4 a.m. Well, obviously when I do my stream at noon, It's 7 o'clock at night. They got better things to do than worry about my stream. So they, once in a while, they might watch 5 minutes of it for my football, but they don't even know what football is. They know I bet it. They know I do it. But they have no interest in it. And why would they? I mean, I show it to them so they can see, yeah, I'm on YouTube or something, but they don't watch it. Phil, not only are American women not even close to the hottest, possibly at the bottom, but they are mostly entitled narcissists also, but that topic could be a whole other show. Yeah, maybe we'll do that tomorrow. You're welcome, BM. So, Phil, good comment. I had just assumed that. They want to know if you won your bets, though, I bet. Well, no. Only Carmen. See, now what I do with Carmen is I say, she'll want money. And I say, okay, we got San Francisco. If San Francisco wins tomorrow, I can give you 100. So that's where I got the Alabama girl from, right? So Carmen, I would say, if they win, I'll win $500. I'll send you 100. So Carmen then knows if I win it. And Carmen actually picks games. We're in Vegas. This is a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, before COVID. And we're sitting in the sports book at Wynn, and we're looking at the football. No, we might have been at the Venetian, and we're looking at football games. And I say, who do you like? And she says, I like Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette. Louisiana Lafayette that year went 13-1 versus the number 12, and they only lost one game. They were playing Mississippi State, getting like 14, and they covered. And she just has a knack of picking winners. So I will give her games, and who do you like? And she'll pick, and it'll win most of the time. She's very creative about that, but she's not the marketing person. But I'll tell you, she's very, very smart. Irina is very, very smart. These Romanian girls are extremely smart. You can't fuck with them. You can't lie to them. They are extremely sharp. So are the Russian girls. Do not fuck with those type of girls. They know exactly what's going on. They can read bullshit a mile away. If you ever want to get into business with a Romanian or a Russian girl, you will be very successful. They do not take shit, and they can smell it a mile away. They are very, very smart and kind of street smart type of people. They've seen it all. Don't fuck with them. They want to, but I help them anyway. I mean, I give Jenna money because she's in the middle of a war and she's going to die if I don't give her food money. So I give her food money. What am I going to do? Let her die and starve to death? I mean, she can't work. There's no jobs. You're in the fucking middle of a war and you're getting missiles blown at you. So I'm not going to let her starve. So yeah, I send her money, but if I win or not, it doesn't matter. And I keep telling her, just wait till the gold goes through the roof. And I've given her gold. So Jenna, my Ukrainian girl, is going to be rich when gold goes through the roof, especially in the Ukraine, because she's got 1.25 ounces and about 5 ounces of silver. So when gold goes through the roof, I told her, wait till it goes and I'll let you know. And then I said, you're going to be rich. So she knows that. And she says, I know gold and silver. Don't worry. Many good-looking women in the so-called clubs rude. Yes. Well, they're all porn girls, aren't they? All the porn girls go to LA and Vegas, think they're God's gift. And, you got to spend $500 to talk to them. I don't have to spend any money to talk to any of the girls I showed you here. That's what I like about them. You take them to dinner, but they're fine with it. You don't have to take them for steaks. Like I said, Jenna, I'm buying her perfume in Lisbon, and there's $100 perfume and there's $75 perfume, and she took the 70 because I don't want to spend 100. I'll save your money and buy the 75, and she still has it. So Jenna's fine. She's very conscious of money and very conscious, but Carmen's not. Carmen's the one that I took her to Santa Monica, and we went to a Iron Chef restaurant, which she doesn't tell me is an Iron Chef one, in Malibu, right off the ocean. And I don't know if anybody's been there. Beautiful. The food was incredible. She's buying $20 drinks at a fucking Iron Chef restaurant. I'm like, so the bill's $60. She knocks it to 120. I go, Carmen, I don't mind spending 120 if we would have got steaks and this Iron Chef, but on three $20 drinks, you're out of your fucking mind. Jenna won't do that. Neither will my Russian or Irina, I'm sure, would not do that. They would be very conscious of it's a $20 drink. But Carmen's like, well, that's what I'm used to, guys treating me for that and this and that. I'm going, not me. You next time you do that, you're paying for the drink. But who knows if she has any money? She never goes into her wallet. I'm expected to pay for everything. So I always pay for the flights, the hotel, and the food. Disneyland, the Bellagio O Show. We went to Universal Studios. So I said, look, I'll spend, but I'd rather spend $300 taking us to Universal than you on your fucking three $20 drinks that I get no benefit from, and you just spent $60, which I'd rather spend a different way because it only benefits. I said, can't you buy $5 drinks? So that's the only problem I have with Carmen is she likes to spend. But that's the culture. In Romania, the guys buy her drinks all the time, but they're not probably buying her a meal, and they're not dating her. They're just at a bar or restaurant sending her a drink. So, she's not killing him, but she just teases guys anyway. She likes doing that. She likes knowing she's good looking, which she does. This is fun. I have let a chick pick the game. It's a way to let them involved in a game they would not otherwise bitch about having to watch with you. That's exactly what I tried to do with the Cincinnati girl in Alabama. Cincy's in the Super Bowl. I go, here, I got a bet on it. If Cincy wins, that the bet wins, I'll give you 100, was exactly what you're saying, Phil. It was to let them in. I know she's rooting for Cincinnati. She's from Cincinnati. Otherwise, I never would have proposed it. If Kansas City won, I would never have brought it up. But because Cincy was in, I know she'd be watching it. We had talked about, I said, Cincy might go to the Super Bowl. I think they can beat KC. And we had a discussion about that. So when they won, I said, now we're in the Super Bowl. She was right with me. She wasn't balking me. And that was surprising when HR told me she doesn't even like football. And I go, what are you talking about? We talked about the Kansas City game. Sure she does. She's from Cincinnati. My mother watched into the Super Bowl and she doesn't even know what football is. So don't tell me she didn't know Cincinnati was in Super Bowl and she had no interest. And you're telling me she didn't watch the Super Bowl. Bull fucking shit. That's just a lie. Nick, I have to find a way to get in touch with these women. Saves me a lot of time and energy. Well, I can introduce you to Carmen. Good luck with that. But the Russian girl and the Ukrainian girl are mine. But I can give you Carmen. Now, Irina's married and about to have a baby. And sorry, I can't do anything with you there. But Carmen, I could. But you got to spend a lot of money on her. She expects you to pay and spend money. I can tell you're my friend. I don't know what you do, but yeah. Where in Alabama was that again? It was Huntsville, the hickiest city in America, in the world probably. I tell you, I go to Odessa. I've been to Lviv in the Ukraine. I've been to Vienna and Switzerland, as I've shown you pictures. We're in the south of France in Monaco. I have never seen a city as dumpy as Huntsville, Alabama. And I've been to the fucking Ukraine and I've been to Moscow. And I've never seen anything like it that was that bad of a city that didn't have a fucking mall. How do you not have a mall in a city? Where are we living in the, in the 1940s? I'm telling you, it was Bayberry RFD. I was waiting for Aunt B and Opie to come out. It was no restaurants, no malls. One little strip mall. It gets hot in the summer. You would think they'd have a mall. There was nothing there. It was creepy. I really had to get out of there. It was terrible. Phil, laugh a lot. Huntsville bros are seething right now. Fuck them. I'll tell you, don't ever work for the Japs. Okay, they're by far anti-American. They're still fuming about World War II and the fact we nuked them. All right, they're still upset. They hate Americans. So when you are somewhere with Japanese, and especially if you're with Japanese women, get the fuck away. Just walk. They are very, very jealous of Americans. Okay, that is one get away from. They're incredibly, for the treasurer not to respect me with the masters in finance and 4 years at Mercedes and Ford and GM, and I come work for you and you fuck me over, like, what the fuck, dude? This is the guy yelling at me, was this Japanese guy. He's lucky I didn't fucking deck him. If I had a golf club, I'd have shoved the 7-iron up his ass. So he's fucking lucky, but he was so out of line. I'm looking like, what the fuck is this guy? I'm not going to let some guy talk to me like this. See, that's the difference of me versus these younger people. I will not take that shit. I will tell you to go fuck yourself, or at work, I'll say you're out of line, but I'm not going to take that. Who the fuck are you to tell me how to do it? Now, that's another reason I have gold and silver. I have my little protection. So when it goes up, get the fuck away from me. I don't, I am prepared and protected with gold and silver to get out of the dollars. You're obviously too stupid. You're going to stay in dollars and stocks and you're going to go broke. And I'm going to just laugh at you because you didn't listen to me and you think I'm an idiot or whatever. And you're yelling at me. Well, you're going to get what you deserve. So, we got a few more months and then boom, 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 we'll pick an island. And, then the gold goes all over the bed, Bobby, and I sleep on it. The silver, I don't know. I got so much silver. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but that's the point. It's very much, that's the good part. So again, you got to read girls. So I read Carmen and I read Jenna, my Ukraine girl, and it's a totally different read. Jenna's very sincere, not trying to spend my money, but I just treat for dinner and the cabs and the hotel and the plane tickets. But Carmen, you do that and she still wants, like, oh, I want all these drinks because that's what I do in Romania. She doesn't get, or she gets it but doesn't want to admit it. So again, you read Carmen and yes, she's a gold digger, and I'll call her a gold digger and she doesn't say it. I've never seen anything like, she doesn't say it. I'll catch her and she just kind of, like, yeah. So like, I don't know. It's a real hard tell. Nick, TK told me pretty much fuck off when I didn't understand his system. I admitted defeats and apologized and have been friends ever since. Well, Nick, I didn't really tell you to fuck off. I just said what you're trying to do, because of my 40 years doing this, I know it won't work because of all the variables to it. And you caught me where I gave you locks of Fresno State under, and I don't remember the other game, Ohio State, I think. And, I left it out there and you picked it up and you saw it won. So you couldn't really argue because it was posted a week before the game. The game's played, the game's won. What are you going to tell me? I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I just gave you two winners, big bets, and they won. So you can't say anything. So if I was telling you and I lost, then you could say, well, fuck you. I'm going to try my system. But I'm trying to save you everything by telling you that system is impossible. Okay, do your system on Frisco, Philly. How are you going to do it? How could you have done the system on Dallas, Frisco? How do you put Dak Prescott 2 interceptions in your formula? That's my point. How do you rank? How many points are you going to give the Niner defense? That's my point. How do you rank that in a formula? You can't. You cannot use analytics in football. It doesn't work. You can't use analytics on 4th down because it depends when and where in the game. You can't just go for 2 every time you got the ball. And it's stupid when you're down 21, you score a touchdown, and they don't kick the extra point to go down 7. I can never in the life of me understand who the fucking idiot is that coming up with don't go for two. Now I'm down. It's 21-13. I'm down 8. I need to go for the 1, and then if I tie the game, I can go for 2. But if I go for 2 and miss, now I'm down 8. I got to go for 2 just to tie it. What the fuck is that all about? I mean, whoever's coming up with this shit is a bunch of morons. So I don't get any of this analytics shit, but you can't formula this. There are far too many variables. How do you format? Okay, Mahomes is injured. How are you going to formula that? How do you formula Joe Burrow being a superstar? How do you formula this? That's the point. You just got to look at it going, okay, Frisco's got a 16 defense. Philly's got a 20 defense. I'm betting the game under. That's all you need to do. You don't need to reinvent the whole math algorithm. What do you call it? Calculus equations to come up with, geez, I think I'll just go under in the game because both teams have great defenses. BM, don't ever let management talk to you like that. Then again, I'm a union. Management wouldn't dare. See, but that's in the union. I used to work union at a grocery store. I thought it was the stupidest thing. I had stock. I had beer and pop. I helped the ice cream and the dairy, and I unloaded the trucks. And I was very, very fast. And that's when I first discovered unions. I was 16 years old, and I said, this is the stupidest thing because I could do everything in an hour. I'm not going to get rewarded. However, every 90 days, I got a raise. And this is back in the 70s when you made I made 1037 at Farmer Jack's. I started at 215. I got promoted to stock boy from Packer, and then I just got raises every 90 days, and I was up to 1037. And then I realized all it had to do was seniority. It had nothing to do with your productivity. And that turned me up about unions. Right after that, I was like, this is ridiculous. I could bust my ass, and the guy who works days, I worked afternoons, is going to always work days because of seniority, not productivity. And I realized that unions are the stupidest thing in the world. Not needed. It's all based on skill set, right? If you do a certain skill, and I have a master's, I get paid more in a free market for having my master's than I would in a union where it doesn't matter my skill set, how strong I am. I'm going to get, in a free market for my skill, I'm going to make so much money based on my skill set, based on what I can do. But I agree with you, BM. Don't ever, I don't let anybody talk to me. That includes the guys in the hot tub. That includes when idiots come on this channel and talk bad about Bobby, calling him a liar. I will not tolerate that. This is a friendly class. This isn't about a dictatorship. We've had enough with Hitler and Mussolini and Stalin. We don't need that. Nick, where'd you go? Have you ever considered for working for management in the sports book? Could see you thriving there? Yeah, I don't know how to really do it, but I should be setting the line at sports books. I should be the one doing the line because they're so bad at it. But yeah, maybe I got to be in Vegas to do it. But yeah, I've seen that I would make the line up. Nick, I'm in audit currently and looking to transition to sportsbook operations since it's my passion. Yeah, well, you should, but you got to go to Vegas, or you're in the East. Does Atlantic City have it or stuff like that? But you might have to go to Vegas for that. Bobby, I agree, Professor. They get out of hand with going for 2 now. Only LSU gets away with going for 2 to win the game. Well, the coach doesn't know what he's doing, so he's got his little thing saying, I need to go for 2. I need to go for it on 4th down. What is Green Bay doing? 4th and 2 at their own 30-yard line against the Lions, going for it. What is that mess? And then they run. At least play the Dave Casper play. You remember that, Nick, don't you? The Dave Casper play in the 70s? I mean, that always works. So if you're going to go for it, do that play. But there's the risk reward of going for it at your own 28. The reward is you get the ball at your 30, first and 10, and it's given you no value by going for it. It's the stupidest move I've ever seen. And what did I see in the playoffs? Now they're punting the ball inside the 5 instead of going for it at the 45, which is what they should always be doing. It's always about field position. Then maybe you get the turnover. Well, Frisco did that yesterday. The idiot announcer said, oh, they should probably go. It's 4-down territory. And they came out and punted, and they pinned Dallas at the 5-yard line. And that's exactly what you do in a playoff game. With that defense, you want to punt. You never want to go for it at the 50 or the 45. And if you're at the 30, you kick the field goal. If you're not, you punt it and let them start at the 5 with your defense. You take advantage of strength and weakness, which is, again, the art of war. What is your strength? My defense. I'm playing to my defense. Where are we at? Phil, I was in a Union grocery store at 16, so was I. They made me kick them a certain amount every check every week, even though I figured they would never have my back. Yeah, well, that was union dues. But they got you the raises. So with me, I worked there 9 years because I was going to school, and it was great. I had money, and I went to this school called Oakland University. And they had the nice fucking golf course, beautiful golf course. And it was $2 because I was a student to play 18 holes. So I said, fuck this. So I'd have a 10 o'clock class, get over at 11. I'd have lunch. I'm at the golf course at 12, and I would play. And then I'd go to work at like 4:30 or something. So I would go get in 18 holes. I once played with a guy that looked exactly like Seve Ballesteros, and he played exactly like Seve Ballesteros. And I actually called him Seve Ballesteros. I called him Seve on the golf course. This guy was the nicest guy, but he looked just like him, and he could play. He'd shoot par golf, and I would just tease him. Hey, Seve, nice shot. But that's what I do at poker, right? And you expect the comeback. Well, here I'd call him Seve, and he liked it. And I played a few times with him. Very nice guy. And I had my career around that course was like a PGA. It was like Oakland Hills. I mean, it was beautiful, long, tough, par 72. And I shot a 73 there once with 4 long birdie putts, and I almost had a heart attack because of what I did. I was just hitting every shot onto the green, and I made 4 long putts for birdies, and then I made my bogeys on holes. And I shot 73, and it was like a dream round that like on Caddyshack where the guy he could break the course record, Bill Murray, but that's what I shot. It was unbelievable, and I made my lone eagle on a par 4 there. It was a short par 4. And it was like 8-iron, 9-iron onto the green. So I hit my 8-iron. I'm not far off. I hit a 9-iron left of the hole, but the hill took it down, and it kept rolling, and it rolls in for an eagle 2 on a par 4. And it was like just fucking amazing. I was like, and this is a different round, but those are my memories of college was that. And then I had this economics class that was Keynesian. That was the stupidest. I got no value out of it. So that was my undergrad. But so I was in no hurry to get through college because I had this job paying 11 or 1037, which was huge back. This is in the 70s. And I'm winning 1,700 in football. I'm winning all this money betting football games. This is before I handicap. So I'm betting. And I'll have a week I go 17-0 in my picks, or 21-1 on my rivalry picks. And I'm making all this money. I got my bosses at the grocery store asking me for picks. The produce guy, he'd have a bookie. Who do you like? And they'd all come to me for my picks, even back then, as I'm a little stock boy at a grocery store. So I've always been the go-to handicapper. I love it. Let's see, Phil, I say ban public unions, private. I'm all for no government units, though. That's a complete joke. Well, I'm not I don't see why you need a union. If you just have skill set and you let it be a market where it's a free market And either I hire Joey or I don't, and he does the job or he does. So if Joey's not doing the job, I should fire him and bring Fred in, and Fred does the job. That's the way it works in a free market. You don't need the union. What do you need the union for? It really hurts you because there's no benefit for working fast and being productive, but you always want to reward productivity. That's the key to it. So if you can, put 100 bottles of pop on the shelf in 10 minutes, you should be rewarded for that. Not, I'm going to go really slow because there's no benefit in going fast. So I'm going to go slow and talk to the customers. And if it takes me 3 hours to do it, what do I care? As long as I'm here and I'm not stealing, I'll get a raise. And that's the problem with unions. Phil, he could travel to a few other states. I think AC is almost gone at this point with sports betting legalized so many other places. The question, though, is where. So if Nick wants to do this, where is the hub for it? Is it in Vegas? Do you actually have to be in Vegas, or can I be here and give away the thing? And that's the other thing. I always have this argument with one of my Oakland bettors, and he always tells me he used to work in Vegas at the casino, and he always tells me how everything worked and they really know the lines. And I always argue with them. They don't know shit. They had, what did they have last week? They had, they have Buffalo favored by 5.5 and Cincinnati wins by 17. Great line, Vegas. You really nailed it. And I always bring that up like, bullshit. They didn't nail the line. And he'll swear they nailed the line and look how close it is. And I go, bullshit. Cincinnati should have been favored, wins by 17. And you want to say Vegas had an accurate line? So I always argue with him because I think he's full of shit. BM, unfortunately, management will take advantage. Well, management always takes advantage. Was working retail and received a 13-cent raise one year. I'm working in a hospital making $63 an hour and guarantee 3% raise every year. Well, that's good for you, BM. I agree there are lazy people that take advantage. Well, it's just when it's set up like that, where there's no reward for productivity, there's always going to be lazy. Why would you work harder? If you just don't steal, you're going to get a raise. What kind of crap is that? I'm going to give everybody here a little advice in a minute. Let me read Nick. Ending up cutting card for 700. Still think it's a good buy based on what you said. Well, okay. As long as you got to enjoy the card. I think if you get it PSA 10, it's worth 7,000. That's why I told you to take it. So what I would do is try to find that card at a card show for $100, right? That's what it'll sell for in Beckett. Understand it's a 10 because it's perfectly centered and sharp corners and a sharp picture. That's what you get graded. So you got a 10 that now, should it be PSA 10? Probably. So I'd cut it out of the case because it's not, who cares about 700 when it's a borough 100 count? It should be worth a ton. Nick, I work in state government. I see firsthand how lazy people, the government jobs are terrible, take advantage being in the union. They give hardworking people a bad rap. Well, all government, not you, but most government jobs are a joke. The people aren't qualified. They don't do a good job and they're overpaid. Phil, what card was that, Nick? He got a Joe Burrow rookie card, 90. I think it was 99 or 100 count. It wasn't a PSA 10. So he asked me about it. He shows it to me. It's not PSA 10. It's only 700 for 100 count. And I said, what I would do is buy it at 700. I would crack the case. I would then send it into PSA. Since it got a gem mint grade, it probably will get a gem mint grade from PSA. And the differences on eBay, PSA 10s tend to sell for a lot more than these off brands. Example is the Montana rookie. PSA 10 Montana is $100,000. If he would have got his graded Montana 10, he'd get maybe 10 grand for it. That's the difference of PSA. That's why it's a monopoly. And I tell you to get the cards graded by PSA, because the reverse on eBay, if it's PSA 10, it goes for a shitload of money. So all the cards I used to buy in the 90s that were graded, that were like, I got a Bobby Orr and it's not a PSA, it's whatever else. And I just cracked it and I said, fuck it. And I got some Derek Jeters that were mint 9s, and I cracked them because they weren't PSA. They're not going to get any value. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, these are gem mint 10s. What the fuck? Why did they get 9s? So I'm going to send them into PSA. So I got like 3 Jeter rookies, a Bobby Orr, I think it was a mint 9 1970 tops, the oval circle one, beautiful card. But I know if it's PSA, it's worth a hell of a lot more than whatever it is. Nick, I agree with most government jobs. They do finance, to be honest. Seems like they are only competent employees. They're actually college educated. Well, what I find is the minorities get in, they hire the minorities, and they don't do anything. They protect them. I mean, look at Kamala Harris, right? She's the VP. What does she do? Anything? She gets paid a lot to do nothing. She probably hires a bunch of her relatives to do nothing at the jobs. You can see what she did at the border, absolutely nothing. So that's your government worker for you, or the guys that build the roads. This is why I bitch that it should be market. You should not have government in schools. You should not have them building roads. That should all be privatized for exactly that reason. They're taking up space, spending way too much money, signing the contracts with their friends. The roads, why are they so expensive? Because their friend bids on them and gets it. They get a kickback. He gets overcharged. So maybe it should cost $50,000. He gets $2 million to build a road. He kicks back to whoever is giving him the contract, and it takes them a year to do it, and they make $2 million for something that they shouldn't get paid more than $50,000 for. How much is a fucking road? You pour concrete down and that's it. Shouldn't be $2-3 million, and they take 6 months to do it. It's a big joke. But that's the problem with corrupt government, right? They give the things to their friends, or the mafia is running it and they give things to the mafia. Michael Corleone gets all the road contracts. Phil, college ain't what it used to be, Nick, but I know what you mean. Yeah, college is so expensive. Anyway, I want to answer BM. So BM, here's what I've learned in my career. I have a lot of jobs that I've worked at. A, I'm not afraid to lose my job or quit or go get a new job. I don't have that fear. B, the only way you get raises are to switch your jobs. So I go from, I'm like a senior financial analyst at GM, and then but I usually work contract, and then I go to Ford. And I always say, if it's contract, I'll say I'm making $2-3 more an hour, which they can never check. They meet it. So I just got a $2-3 raise. I worked there a year or two. I switched jobs. The only one I didn't was Mercedes. I was at for 4 years and I loved it. And the Germans are very respectful and very smart people. So I liked what I was doing. I was very well respected there, unlike this fucking Toyota job. And that was the only, and I still got a raise there. And they tried hiring me, but they couldn't because of COVID. But that was a job I would have stayed at. But I got a raise and I really enjoyed it. Like Hiram Walker with the Canadian, like this job here. I love this job. I didn't care. I was a little underpaid, but I didn't care. But if you enjoy the job, you're fine. But if you don't enjoy it, you just leave it. But you always lie about your wage. So if you're making $50 an hour, you're making 52. If you're making $40 an hour, you're making 42. They cannot check it. And you walk away with your $2 raise. And it's based on skill set. Masters in finance. I know Excel. I know SAP and Oracle and PeopleSoft. I can do budgets and forecasts. And by the way, I can handicap football games, which never seems to, they never know what to do with that. And I don't know how to bring it up sometimes, but it's an extremely hard skill and a high skill. And, and my economics, which never comes into play, they don't know how to use me. They don't understand economics. So I'm dealing with a bunch of idiots who don't understand Austrian economics. I can say, go buy gold, and everybody gets upset at me for scaring everybody, right? You're scaring people by telling them to buy gold and the market's going to crash. Well, I'm only being honest, and I'm trying to help people. So somehow that gets screwed up, and they don't understand it. So I'm like, fuck you guys. But I have a lot of jobs. And they'll ask me, well, why did you leave the job? I'll go, I basically for money. I answered that on a question yesterday. I showed it on my earlier class, and I said, why do you want to work here? And I said, for the money. I swear I said for the money. Like, why does anybody work anywhere for the money? Like, what kind of stupid question is that? What am I supposed to say? Because you're a great company? Come on, let's get the cards on the table. I'm here for money. If you don't want to pay me, I'll find somebody else who values my skill set, and I'm ready to just try to teach Austrian economics. And you know what? Fuck everybody. I'm going to buy as much gold and silver as I can. And when that goes through the roof, I'm retiring. And so I finally found the goose laying the golden egg, which is gold and silver. So that's why I push you guys, is because I want you to be safe and secure, get out of dollars, and you'll have a wonderful retirement. Bobby, you got to buy more gold, but then at least buy more silver for me. And then you're fine. Then you can't be controlled. They cannot inflate your dollars like they do with this, right? They can print it to death. So you think you have 100 grand and you have zero, but they can't do it to gold. They can't print the gold. And once it gets out of COMEX and it goes to a real pricing mechanism, which is what Russia's working on, you're set, because it's going to be 40, 50 grand for the rest of your life. You're going to sit there and go, okay, this is it. I'm done. Let's go find a nice house, a nice girl, and we're retiring. I mean, that's it. Nick, oh yes, mafia is still present here, and it's present everywhere. It runs the country and it runs the world. So if you don't think J.P. Morgan's mafia or Russian mafia, China, the George Soros, the Vatican, it's all mafia. They run everything, and don't be naive. We all know that. We're learning SAP and finance still, considering learning SQL database. I know what SQL is. Well, SAP I learned because of Mercedes, right? That's the software they use, but it's a German package. So GM and Ford don't use it. They use like PeopleSoft and Oracle. So you only need it if you're working for a German company, SAP. It's all the same. Here's where the ledger is. Here's where payables is. Here's how to look at purchase orders. Here's how to look at vendors. Here, but they didn't have a budget in there. I had to go to a German budget system to pull what the budget was. The actuals, I'd pull the ledger out of SAP, download it into Excel, and then I'd filter by cost center. And I got down to a science where I did all that in an hour. And it blew them all away because it never was done before. And I'm like blowing through it. It got to the point where my boss, a nice German woman, saying, you take 3 or 4 days, it's okay. And I go, yeah, okay. Oh, here it is. 2 hours later. Okay, I'm done. And she's like, and it was accurate. She could never, as try as she would to see if I'm off. If the ledger said 1,000,001, my number was 1,000,001 right on the spot. And she got to the point like, fuck the guy. He knows what he's doing. He does it right. And we would always argue with Germany. My number was right. And we always won because it was always right, because that's how I think. I know I need to get to 1,000,001. Am I there? Yes. Okay. Make sure I change my formulas to add the extra lines. And that's how I did it. But SAP is to me, PeopleSoft, Oracle, SAP is all the same. It's just, here's the ledger, here's payables, here's the vendors. Here's the actuals. Boom, boom, boom. It's all the fucking same. So it's all, once you get it, it's easy and off you go with it. But the company I was just at, they didn't even have software. They had this quick base bullshit, and it wasn't programmed. So I had to do inventory and job costing manually. And it was like so stupid. And when the CFO let me go, I told him to fuck off. I says, you leave me here in this situation. You don't communicate with me. You're letting me go for apparently no reason. And you're too stupid to communicate with me. I said, I'm the smartest guy here. I'm the solution, not the problem, the quote, Die Hard. I'm not part of the problem. I'm part of the solution. And you're letting me go. This shows me how little you know. How did you get your job? And I started nailing him like, okay, you got 6 months. So by March, you're going to be out of business because of this recession. And I know you won't own any gold because you're too fucking stupid. And I just nailed him to the wall. And because at the point you're letting me go, I'm like, well, fuck you then. There's no tie to you. I never use you as a reference. I use Mercedes. So it's like, fuck off. And it's amazing how these guys become a CFO and they're that stupid. But that's the way they are. And I do not take bullshit at my stage. It's like, fuck you. And knowing you have the gold and silver really helps because that's your protection. So that's your guardian angel. That's my guardian angel. Gotcha. I already know PeopleSoft. It's the same. It's just really what you're doing, Nick, is you're going to the menu. You're going, what SAP menu do I need? What Oracle menu do I need? And then you template it. So what I did was once I knew what the ledger was, I made a template. I brought in the IT cost center and the IT accounts. And then I just would bring it up and then I would just, calculate it and then take it off to Excel and it would download into Excel. So once I knew what I wanted, I would just create the template. I'd create a payable template, a project template, whatever they were. And that's all I did. And that it worked like a charm. So anyway, so that's it. So this is all about the hot tub. Trying to understand why this guy disrespected me. And that is not acceptable. Like BM saying, you don't let a manager talk to you that way. Well, the hell if I'm letting some idiot at a hot tub talk to me that way. That isn't going to happen. And if you don't know I'm the professor and I know all this, you better fucking ask or you need to learn. You cannot just discount me in a hot tub because you don't know me. How do you assume I don't know what I'm talking about? That's my problem. You should, when I start talking about bricks and I start talking about inflation, you better listen, but that tells me you don't know. So if you're going to listen to Peter Schiff, I'm just going to laugh at you going, you're a fucking idiot. What do you mean you'd listen to Peter Schiff? So that's what you pick out. It's like, oh, I'm taking Dallas against Frisco. And as soon as you hear that, you go, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Just like anybody taking KC this week. Mahomes ain't playing. He's going to get his shot. Cincinnati with Burrow, they're gonna bury him. They just buried Buffalo. So anybody taking KC, good luck. But that's my point. So what you do is you listen. I listen to Peter Schiff. You immediately go, this guy's an idiot. Boom, check. Or gold's going to go down, check. Or look at the gold price is dropping, but it'll go back up, check. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You don't understand the difference between paper gold and physical gold. We're talking physical gold. That's what's going through the roof. That's what we're investing in. That's why we're buying the physical. That's what's going to go up. JP Morgan cannot hold that price down too much with Russia and China to bring it up in bricks. That's the counter of the JP Morgan price fix that's been there for 50 years. That's blowing up and they can't keep it going. And this idiot thinks, well, they'll just keep it going for infinity like the Keynesians printing money. It just doesn't work. Phil, professor starts a random night class and the people will come. Glad you went live. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, I was supposed to be a half-hour class because I did another hour and a half this afternoon. Do you prefer the night class? Because I don't have to do it. I did it like at 11:30 today, but I like it because I wake up and it gives me continuity, and then I go eat and I go to the club, and I'm usually home watching a movie now and then go to sleep. I'm up a little late. Who did I get here? Is this Russia or Ukraine? Let's see who texted me. It is. No, it's the some other girl trying to scam me who I just keep laughing at. So this girl keeps saying she's a model, but Carmen I know. So when Carmen texts me, I know it's Carmen. So she keeps saying, so I said, send me a video saying, hi, Howard, with like that that I can, like, you can see it's me talking now. So, yeah, it's Professor. So I keep saying, send me a 20-second, hi, Howard, it's me. And, so I know it's real. She won't send it. So I keep saying, fuck you. You're obviously not real. You're trying to scam me. Go fuck yourself. So when you're ready to send me a 20-second video. Meanwhile, I'm getting videos from Jenna and Daria, my Russian Ukraine girlfriend, and from Irina and Carmen, and they're all sending me little videos and pictures. I miss you. I love you. How are you? What's going on? Except for Carmen asking for money. So I get that every day. So here's a girl pretending this is an American girl. This is the difference, right? The European girls are all real and they trust me. They love me because they know I'm honest and they know I'm truthful. This girl wants to fuck around. I'm not giving you a penny. Go fuck yourself. You want to meet me? That would be you're making the biggest mistake of your life. You should come to me, say you're real and have a chance, but you don't want to do that. So fuck you. And I don't fall for her games. Phil, I prefer the night class personally, but I know it's up to your schedule. Well, it's just like I didn't get a lot of people. I still got like 50 viewers live, but I wasn't getting. I was like 2 here, and they'd fall off, and 2 there. Then I see nobody, and I'm like, oh fuck, is nobody watching? And I was excited about the football games yesterday, going 4-0, but I missed the over in the Cincinnati game. But I hit all the games, and I predicted exactly what was it. It was going to be Frisco at Philly and Cincinnati at KC. And I was really proud that early last week I predicted that was going to be this week's games. And I was dead on, and I was just excited about it. So I came on, but I don't know. I can do 2, but it doesn't bother me. I enjoy talking about it and educating. But it's just food for thought. When somebody disrespects you, and they think they know, and you're going to find that out too, because you are now becoming gurus on gold and Austrian economics and baseball cards and poker and everything else and football. And as you start telling your friends, so Phil, you start bringing up gold and they disrespect you, you're going to start getting fucking mad and frustrated going, well, what the fuck? Don't you think I know what I'm talking about? That's the part that bothers me the most, is to get the laugh and to get the you don't really know, or I listen to Peter Schiff, so why should I listen to you? Like he's the gospel, like I don't know anything. And, okay, you don't know me, but maybe you should listen. But they don't even want to listen. They just tune me out. And I'm like, well, then go fuck yourself. When the dollar goes away, don't come crawling to me for gold and silver. And now I'm just smug going, oh, fuck you. Go stay with your money. And when it does this, don't come crawling to me, because I'm telling you, it's not an opinion. This is what's going to happen. It's just a matter of time till the Russians and Chinese blow it up and want gold to go to its value, because they own all the fucking gold and they want it to go to their price. So they will be rich. You don't think the Russians, that's the number one thing Russians want is money. And they have gold, and the one thing they want is gold to be 50,000 an ounce. So that's what's going to happen. Is Brady coming to the Raiders? I don't know. He should, but it depends. Does he like the coach? Do they have the defense? Do they have the receiver? Now he's got Devontae Adams, and he's got the running back, so he's got somewhat of an offense. Don't know about his offensive line. They don't have a defense. So does he want to be on an 8-8 team? I can see him going where he should go. Should be Philadelphia. It would have been Frisco, but here's Purdy. I don't need Brady. I got Purdy. Seattle is a possibility, but their defense isn't strong. But for him to play with Coach Pete would be good. Maybe he goes to Georgia or Alabama and plays. They got a defense for him there. He's got to go to a good defensive team with receivers, and I don't, he's not going to go to San Diego. They got Herbert. Denver's got Russell Wilson, so I don't know where he goes now. In all honesty, he probably should go to Philadelphia. Would be the best fit for him, but they're too stupid. They have Hurts. They don't understand with Brady, they win the Super Bowl. With Hurts, they don't. You can't go to Cincinnati. You're not going to Kansas City. Let's see. Maybe Oakland. Tennessee would be good. They got the defense. They got Henry, but they don't have the receivers. Not Jacksonville, not Cleveland. Pittsburgh would have been good because they have the defense, but they don't really have the receivers. Minnesota would be good, but they need the defense. They need to get rid of Jefferson, not Chicago, not Carolina. New Orleans, they're interesting. Mike Thomas is always out with the toe, but they have a fairly good defense, and they got Kamara. That wouldn't be terrible. Baltimore would be good. They don't have a quarterback, and they have a good defense, but they don't have receivers. Not LA. Seattle, like I said, yes. Not San Diego. Denver. Certainly not New England or Buffalo. Certainly not Detroit. Green Bay. That would be really interesting. They get rid of Rodgers and add Brady. I don't know if that would work. The Giants, God knows they need a quarterback. They don't have receivers or a defense. Philly would be the best fit for him. God knows, not Houston, not Indy, not Arizona. It would have been the Niners. He's at Tampa. I don't see Atlanta. Dallas would be a good fit for him. They got CD Lamb, they got the running, and they got the Actually, Dallas would be a very good place for him. And actually, or the New York Jets has the really good defense. They got decent receivers and a decent running back, but I can't imagine them going to the – I'd actually say Dallas would be the best place for him. Get rid of Prescott. He sucks. Bring in Brady with CeeDee Lamb and Elliott and the other running back and the killer defense. That would be a really good place for Brady is Dallas. Because Oakland doesn't have a coach, not that Dallas does. Oakland doesn't have a coach and doesn't have the defense that he needs. He needs to go in to win the Super Bowl. So he'd be like Joe Burrow's the Pied Piper. Everybody and their mother wants to go to Cincinnati. So they brought in a lot of defense. These guys all wanted because they want to win the Super Bowl. They're all going to Cincinnati with Brady. He's got the receivers. If he adds another LSU guy, you can get Bote. And Bobby says he's sitting out. He's going to play next year. I don't know why Bote. What is going on? Why is Zing going and Hartman? Why are they staying in college? Before they would all leave. Now I don't know who's leaving. I think Bo Nix is staying. I think the kid from Washington is staying. Like, what the fuck? Phil, sometimes I see guys post a poll at YouTube. So maybe you could run one of those sometimes. I could try. I don't know how to do it, but I could. No way he goes to Eagles with a playoff quarterback, no matter what we think of Hurts' ability. If for no other reason than political reasons, Slimebag press would insulate things. Then I think he needs to go to Dallas because they don't have a quarterback. Brady to Miami or 49ers seems like the best fit. Well, I would have said yes, but now if you have Brock Purdy, I'm not bringing in Brady. What do you got, Brady for a year? He would have been good, but Purdy can win the Super Bowl for you this year. Purdy he's a very strong quarterback. I'm not getting rid of Purdy. I would have gotten rid of Garoppolo. Obviously, Lance sucks, but I would have said yes. To Miami, they don't have the defense. And they're all, in love with Tagliabue for some reason. That wouldn't be bad if they got a defense. I could see him going to Miami. But not the Niners. Not if Purdy wins the Super Bowl. They're not bringing in Brady. You got your guy, and I think they got their guy anyway with Purdy. He's your quarterback. Don't even, some guy was saying, well, man, what will they do with Lance and Purdy? Well, there's not even a competition. Purdy's a 10, Lance is a 2. Who are you going to pick? Phil, Miami ain't a bad. Probably has a house in Tampa, at least in the same state. Yeah, but it's a long drive. I've been to Disney World and I've been to Boca Raton, so I don't see him what's in Miami? All right, you got Tyreek Hill, and you got Waddle, and but you don't have a defense. I think he's got that this year with no defense, and Julio Jones and Evans and Godwin. So I don't know that Miami's the place. The Niners would have been, but with Purdy, no. I'm telling you, he should go to Dallas. It's a nice fit. They would win there. They would probably win the Super Bowl. It'd be them. And I mean, look at how close it was with Dallas Frisco now and Dallas Philly. You put Brady on that team, that puts Dallas over the hump. They can't win with Prescott. He sucks. The 2 interception guy. And when they needed Prescott to do something yesterday, he didn't show up. So I don't see Prescott. I mean, you got to put Brady in there, get rid of You got to get rid of Prescott anyway. He's not the answer. But I would definitely, that's where Brady could go. You've got the killer defense, and you've got the receivers, and you've got the full package there. I would take, and you got Kellen Moore, good offensive coordinator. You just got to get rid of McCarthy and bring in Harbaugh, so, then you'd go from there. Jerry Jones seems to marry these quarterbacks. I could see him sticking with Prescott for the next 8 years. Not if he could get Brady. I don't see that because he's got to be like, okay, Prescott really does suck every big game. He chokes, 2 interceptions here. I mean, he's not stupid. He's about winning. You give him Tom Brady, and Jerry Jones will take Tom Brady. I guarantee it. And then, you got Micah Parsons and Brady and Lamb. Dallas could win the Super Bowl with that. I hate the Cowboys. Hope they stay with Prescott. Well, I just would bet against Prescott no matter what. I hope he goes to the Lions and we can bet against him there. You can't hate because you might have to bet on him. Now, it was sweet yesterday because we locked San Francisco, so you should have won a lot of money. But I don't recall you, BM, so you probably didn't get my free pick. But that was the lock with San Francisco yesterday, which easily covered because the points bet was way off. So that's where you could have got your revenge betting against Dallas. But, yeah, I mean, with Prescott, we bet against Dallas a lot. Phil, yeah, there could be a Brady exception, true. Well, exactly. But all of a sudden, if Brady goes to Dallas, we all like Dallas because we're making money on it. We just want to make money. So right now we're on Frisco and we're on Cincinnati, and we love Burrow and we love Purdy, and that's where we go with it. And we just that's why I'm so successful, because I find the Purdys, I find the Burrows, and that's who we jump on. I was on Mahomes before. I was on Brady for 10 years. Now we're looking, here's the next guy. And we're not on Herbert because he keeps choking. We're certainly not on Lawrence or Tagliabue. Those guys are chokers. Or Daniel Jones. So who are we on? We're on Burrow. When we need a game, we go to Cincinnati and we bet Cincinnati. We bet, but we don't bet Buffalo. I don't bet Buffalo a lot, and I'm really not betting Philly that much because I really don't know who Hurts is. I'm not sold on Hurts. He runs too much. He hurts his shoulder. So he's running with the hurt shoulder. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He doesn't slide. Look at Allen. Allen gets into a critical game and he chokes it away. He's a choke. That's why I can't bet on Allen, because he's a choke, and I know it. And if you blitz him, he's going down. And Buffalo's on their way out. They're not. They had their chance. They're not winning, just like in the 90s with Jim Kelly and all that. If they couldn't win then, they ain't winning with this guy. But I'm on Burrow. He's a winner. I'm on Purdy looks like a winner. We'll see what Hurts does. Mahomes we bet on. But with Mahomes, you're fucked because you keep laying 12 points, 13 points. They win the game by a field goal, and you're fucked by Mahomes 12 ways from Sunday because they don't try. This isn't college. They're not trying to win by 20 so they can make the playoffs. This is just win the game by 3 and move on, like they did like here. They win 27-20 over Jacksonville. They're laying 9.5. They don't give a fuck about the number. They got the win. That's all they care about is getting the win. They're not out to win by 30. That's the first and foremost thing you got to understand about the pros. So that's why when I see a 13, 14 point spread, I never want to get close to it because I know if it's close, they will not score to get up 20. They're going to win by 10 or a late field goal. And they win by 7. That's all they're trying to do. They're not trying to run up the score like college. So college, we make a lot more money because we go, oh, they need it for the playoff. And we bet TCU and they win by 100 points. Or we bet Ohio State or Georgia or, it's all for look good in the playoff. So these teams put up 50 points and you coast in, and we know who the 50-point teams are. There was all over the place. And so that's really what you're looking for. So that's my point. Anyway, don't get disrespected. That's the lesson of this thing. If you start talking gold with people or football or anything of what I'm teaching you, and I'm giving you the explanation so you can explain it to people. And if they give you the bullshit look or who the fuck are you, or you don't know what you're talking about, I don't know what to tell you. Just kind of in your mind, they're idiots and just try to walk away. But if they start laughing or put up Peter Schiff in your face, that is very, very disrespectful. And that's where I draw the line. Okay, you don't want to listen, fine. But when you disrespect me, that's going to be a whole different ballgame. So that doesn't happen. Anyway, it's late. I'm watching the Devil's Brigade on this. I found this movie channel. It's got commercials, but it gives you good movies, unlike Netflix, which is the same. Okay, I watched the movie. Now what? What I'm doing on Netflix is I'm watching Money Heist in Spanish, in the real language with English subtitles. It's almost a different show because they're saying different words with different meanings. And then I'm reading it, and the only problem is you got to read it all in English. But it's like a whole different show because they're talking in Spanish, and the English subtitles are not what they said when they're talking in English. It's fascinating. So I just finished the first heist, and then I'll watch a little of the second. Then I'll go to season 5 and watch the season 5. And I love how he switches it for brass. And I highly recommend when you own your gold to buy the brass as a deflection in case somebody wants to steal your gold. They're going to steal the brass, and you'll be like, okay, you can, no problem. But I don't know if it's going to get to that. I know they're trying to scare us and riots and all this shit. I think they're going to riot against Washington. I don't see them coming to my house and rioting. What do they know? They don't know if I got money or any, why would they come to my house? So I could see them going to the Target or Meijer's or Kroger's and getting food, or going to the, Washington to riot. But I don't see them coming to everybody's house and everything. And I don't see getting out of this. They're all saying get out of the cities, but what good is it going to be in the country? Where are you going to get food there? Unless you know somebody who's a farm. And my gal in like I said, in Romania, the pregnant one, they have a farm. I could see going there and saying, here's 20 silvers. I'm going to be eating here for a year. That would be the only thing. And she does have cows and chickens and vegetables. And I could see very easily having to fly there, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, I hope this war in the Ukraine ends. My guess is the shit's going to hit the fan the day after the Super Bowl. So they're kind of waiting for the Super Bowl to happen. Sort of like that's when COVID came out. It was right after the Super Bowl. If you notice, they let the Super Bowl happen. Then a week or two later, it's COVID. And I think this is going to happen now. They're going to let the Super Bowl happen, and a week or two later, it's going to be, oh, the inflation's really high. Gold and silver goes up. We need to replace the dollar. Maybe the war with Russia, Ukraine ends, or I don't know. Come out with the digital dollar and the regular dollar and shit like that. Okay, Phil, I will talk to you. Okay, BM, that's my cue, so I'm going to get the fuck out of here too. All right. So have a good night, everybody. I will see you in the morning. Um, and I do it live, so I get the feedback so we can communicate. And also, obviously, you can watch it at night. So I'll be more specific that you guys are looking at this in the evening where I will be more precarious consciously that you'll be watching it later on. All right, everybody, www.teaserking.com. Be respectful, watch your gold and silver, get away from Peter Schiff and idiots, disrespectful idiots and hot tubs. All right, everybody, have a nice night. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.